Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. We are going to be continuing our Umbral campaign with session 6 here. Although we're this is case file 4, I guess. But nevertheless, we're having a good time with it. We're starting to build up the cosmology, and things are going well. Hopefully, you all have been doing well and had yourself a good weekend and such. I know I've been doing a lot of work and preparing because I've been asked to give a dissertation on the current status of the Ukrainian war here in the city this evening. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to have GOP. That's going to be great fun.
That sounds a little
Wait,
interesting,
how
considering
many
your
people?
wheelhouse.
What was that, Tower?
In front of how many people?
Well, it's all city council and city people, and I don't know. There'll probably be 100
It's
or
in his
two.
classroom.
No, it's not a class thing. It's a government thing. Um, one of the, well, not one, several of those kind of upper government people are actually my students, and we've had some off because they've asked questions. Because here in Japan, there is no news, right? Because it's all very happy. Oh, grandma turned 100 years old today. There's a lot of that. And of course, it helps to promote the peace here in Japan. And then the big media is all controlled by CNN anyway. But when you put the Japanese filter on top, there's just not much information. They don't know anything. And we've had a couple of conversations in the class, and they asked me if I would do this. So I was like, okay. So I prepared a lecture I have to give tonight on the current status of the Ukrainian war. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Japanese, even.
Well,
Oh,
I would
Joy.
assume. Yeah.
I'm going to assume you like speaking Japanese, having lived there
Well,
for.
Like?
I would assume that he would probably use Japanese, considering that he's speaking to
Yeah,
a Japanese
do
audience.
you enjoy Japanese, Chester?
Enjoy. It's the word enjoy. It's one of the to be honest, it's one of the uglier languages. It's not a very pretty language. It's not a sophisticated language. So enjoy implies that, yeah, no, I wouldn't use that word.
What is your favorite and least favorite language?
My favorite language, you won't like the answer.
Is it French?
No, it's German. My favorite language is German or the Nordic languages. They're just so elegantly specific. My least favorite language, it's probably one of the Polynesians.
Fuck those
Um,
Polynesians.
well, no, the Polynesian languages they're just like kindergarten level simplistic. It's incredible. They got like 10 letters, 11 letters, right? And they were actually more like a character, right? Ha, ma, those kind of that's their letters, right? And they're just so they sound better. I think the Polynesian language have a sound that's better than say Japanese or Korean. Korean, I can't stand the sound of Korean. It sounds so
What is?
horrible to my ear. But they
Could you
can't
say a
say
simple
anything.
sentence in Korean?
What was that?
Just for my education, because it's not. I don't know many people who know that many languages. Can you say a sentence in Korean and then like translate it in English just to show like how it's like doesn't really it's just more of a gritty language?
In Korean, no. I can understand Korean. I can, to a point, I'd say I'm probably sitting at around 50, 60% with my Korean. I can kind of read it. It is one of my weaker languages. All the Asian ones, because I never focused on Asian languages until I came here, right? So it isn't really one of my Korean, certainly not. If in Japanese, I could do that quite easily. I don't know, like, what do you want me to say? Kyo wa bugbear basement no Oh, game wa nini suru ne. How's that? Is that better? Do you understand what I just said? Probably you did, right?
Not really.
Bug
No,
Bugbear's
I don't know
basement
any
word game.
Japanese.
Today we have Bugbear's basement. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Now, what about
Well,
Polynesian? Just where you say it's so simple.
It's incredibly simple, and of course, what's happened, they've adapted, right? So if you go to Polynesia, and somewhere in Polynesia, and you go to an area where it's just locals, they will be speaking their language, but it'll be, 50% of it, 60% of it will be English or French, or depending on the culture that interacted with them the most, because they don't have words for hardly anything, so they have to use loan words. They're heavily loan worded. So I guess if you look at modern Polynesian, well, it's fine, but I'm talking about the archaic form, right?
Could you
mhm.
say something in the archaic form?
No, I don't speak Polynesian like that. I can read it to a point. I only have like 12 languages that I'm licensed in. I don't speak every language on the planet, Tower.
Oh,
Well, you should,
I
yeah.
know.
Chester.
But I
What you're
can kind of
slacking.
I can kind of get by though. I can kind of
How
get a
the fuck
gist.
do you get licensed in a link? What?
Well,
Chester explained this before. You have to get a license for pretty much everything in Japan.
Well,
well,
yeah, in Japan. But
yeah, but those licenses aren't Japanese. Those are because as a teacher you have to be accredited. You know this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't just
okay.
walk into a classroom and be a teacher. You have to have accreditation.
that's
So,
really
and I
cool.
also work with like the Sumerian Project and other, Oxford Press and things like that. So you have to have accreditation. It's just required. I could probably get by in more like 17 languages. I'd feel pretty confident with it, especially academically. But I'm only licensed in 12. So
Okay.
yeah, no, it's just
All right.
I mean, don't you
Yeah.
guys have to have a license to drive your truck?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like you
Not really. I
technically
mean,
do, but with some of the people who work with us, I kind of question it.
Okay, fine, I
so,
get that.
so
Where
Chester,
I
like,
used to work
so
at, you had to go take a
here's the
test
fun
to
thing with like
become a
U.S. laws,
translator.
right?
I'm
You.
sorry. What?
So,
Go ahead.
Where
oh,
I
okay.
used to work at, go ahead,
Oh no, no,
Chris.
you
One
go,
at a
lady.
time. Someone pick.
Where I used to work at, you had to take a test to be allowed to translate
Yeah,
for. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
basically the
And that,
same thing.
well, basically what happened was, as with everything, Oxford University in Britain, right? Oxford is kind of become the center for accreditation for all kinds of things, particularly language. Which is very handy because they'll handle licensing, international licensing in that regard. So as long as you have your accreditation, you can go work anywhere. For instance, I have my Oxford accreditation, just like any other philologist will, right? And therefore, of course, it doesn't matter now. I've been working with them for 25 years. But with the Sumerian project that I'm part of, you would have to present all of that information, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's just like anything else. If you were to have a job that you have to drive a vehicle or handle dangerous materials or whatever, you have to have accreditation. It's just it's not like I have a little license like you use for driving a car, and I like, yeah, philologist. I don't do that. That would be cool though. I should do that.
Uh, so like the fun thing in like mine and GOP's field and the U.S. licensing for like driving vehicles is realistically anyone can get a driver's license fairly simply as long as you're not like on the spectrum. Now, here's the fun thing though for professional driver's license to operate the kind of machines me and GOP operate. If you want to operate a commercial vehicle like a semi truck with a fifth wheel, you need to have a class A, B, or C. I think it is licensing.
Hmm.
Now, if you drive a Ford F-350 Super Duty pickup truck with a fifth wheel with a 10-foot trailer, you need to have a class A CDL. but a 16-year-old on a learner's permit can drive a 27-foot RV hauling a trailer with a car on the back of it, and that is totally legal.
America, fuck yeah. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like motorcycle licensing.
Oh yeah.
Once you get your
Well,
motorcycles licensing, there's nothing stopping you from jumping on a Hayabusa and sending yourself to fucking space.
And no.
It's just
I had my first motorcycle license when I was 9 years old.
so you understand.
I do. I understand
it
Like
may
we
exactly.
be
don't
that
like
the fact that
yeah
the
we don't have the limits. Like I know I'm not sure about Japan, but I know Europe. You have to go through the tiers where you start off with like a class C or some shit where you're allowed to drive like 250 cc's or less, and then you have to be licensed for so long and
Yep.
take all these courses. So all these big like the motorcycle I have, most grown men in Europe are not allowed to drive because the engine is considered too big. Although in
Right.
the U.S. my bike is considered quite
Well,
small.
the Europeans do have the most stringent driving laws and licensing laws in that regard. They do, but they also have it for a good reason because they get snow every year.
We also get
Yeah,
it's
well,
snowing
it
right
depends on
now.
where you live,
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm just
true.
Europe has it.
Um,
It's a standard, but Europe, especially Finland. Finland has the most ridiculous. You actually have to be able to get a license in Finland, just a standard car license. You have to be able to do a power slide.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's awesome actually. But Japan's stricter than America for sure. But when the motorcycles only have two licenses, they have a what is it, sub 500? Is it sub 250? Is it? I think 250 or 500 cc. I can't remember. But they have a sub
I'm gonna
license and
assume
a.
sub. I'm gonna say sub 250 because 250 like all the bikes start off at 250, and it seems too fit for licensing reasons. 250 and less is a category.
It is, and that's what all
40.
the Japanese companies would build in. So there you go, 250
Yep.
and over. Uh,
250,
so
600s, and then 49 cc's are also for like the mopeds and scooters.
Yeah, but here in Japan, you can drive one of those scooter or lower CC stuff with a driver license. You don't need a specific motorcycle license for that. Although I do have all of it, though. I have gone and gotten all of that. I actually have a truck designation on my license, and I also have a hazard designation on my license because I was helping one of my friend owns a dynamite company, and I was helping him. Years ago, drive dynamite, and you have to go through testing and stuff for that, which makes perfect sense.
you want to hit a bump.
Well,
I
no,
get it.
it's not actually anywhere near as dangerous as you think it
I
is.
know.
Yeah.
I'm just.
You'd actually get a kick too out of it, Chester. You know, me and GOP are not licensed truck drivers. We drive semis with 60,000, 80,000 pounds regularly, but because we're in an enclosed yard, there's no limits on what we can do.
Well, I have a license, just not a CDL. So
Uh,
let's make that clear.
you're
It's
not a
like
CDL, certified
we're just
loser.
we're just driving around. It's like, what's a license? Who needs one of those?
Yeah,
Well,
dude, we'll have
well,
CDL drivers look at us like this is common knowledge, and it's like, no.
no, I know that's true because the reason I ended up getting an actual fifth wheel license when I was younger was because I had a job where I was doing kind of like what you guys are doing, working in a yard, but it was for farming. It was all farming related, but it was still
Yep.
working in a yard. And I didn't need any license at all. I just needed a car license. I didn't need any license at all because I didn't leave the property. But because I learned to do it there, I had an opportunity to pull a fuel tanker, a gasoline tanker at nighttime to fill up the gas stations, right? And
Well,
Yeah.
so I that was a much higher paying job, so I had to go actually to get a license for that. But I mean, that's how I got involved. Same. You guys are dealing with I'm assuming a way bigger operation than I was dealing with.
We're, we're talking, yeah, me and GOP are talking 4,000 units on and off board every
Yeah,
24 hours.
yeah, no, yeah,
I
it's
yeah.
mean,
very different. Yeah,
I've hauled bird cages that I pretty sure had bulldozers inside of them. anything you can ship in a basic cargo container, and oil tankers, and what are the other ones? GOP. You ever got the U.S. boxes? Or I haven't seen them, but I have heard about them in California. Our yard over there has actually dealt with bombs. The U.S. military will make bird cages for their heavy ordnance, and they will ship it via freight.
I don't think
Yeah,
I've
no, it
seen
is
that up
crazy the kind of
there,
stuff you
but
can see. Now, mine,
um,
we got to move on, but the one I was dealing
yeah,
with, people would drop off trucks of grain or livestock in the front. I would go over with my
Yep.
little Mack truck, pick it up, bring it in the back. That's it. Yeah,
Hey,
not,
what
yeah,
more do you need?
all right,
yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
we do need to move along. But
indeed.
that's cool. And these are important jobs too. We need these things done, and it sounds like there is some fly in the ointment over there as far as what's going on right now. Anyway, I've shared my screen, so I'm going to switch over to the other side here,
Thank you, Chester.
and we'll get started. So here we go. Now, just as a quick reiteration, once again, we are using Cortex Prime, and we are in Umbral. And I'm liking the way it's building out, and I think we got some cool times ahead. We've kind of got this worked out now, just to show off the guys here. We do have ladies character here, Mavis. We have Towers character here, Jacob Maccabee, and he forgot what century he's in. Yep. Um,
Hey, what? No. Yes, no, he's fancy.
Yeah. We also have GOP's character here, Xander Lyons. It's perfect.
Yes,
It's perfect.
that's much. Yes,
No,
I'd
push
still
back
like
to
the
the other
original.
one.
Now this is
You
much
should
well,
more
Back to
definitely.
the
acceptable.
other one.
Okay, Chester, just for a bloopers, you should definitely post the original,
I don't
just so
have to.
people know.
GOP already has. But no, I'm not. No, no. This is way better. This is way better. But it gives us a visual of our characters here. This is the one I kind of just threw together for him, which I need to delete. But this right here works
One I
just
like
fine.
better.
Yeah, no, this is better. Although I don't
Okay.
like to mix live action in as any more than I have to.
well, there's
Nevertheless,
ways to fix that
there are ways
with
to
that.
fix
What we were
that.
talking about earlier.
Yes, there are ways. That is true. And maybe I'll do that just to give it because I've researched it, but I haven't tried it. Anyway, we are in Boston, and what we did last time was kind of one of those upkeep sessions, which are essential and they can be fun. And we basically passed 6 months of time. I'm not going to reiterate all of that, but basically, these guys have been chosen as the Boston liaison team. And just to kind of add a little more layer on top of it, um, you know, all of you are pact members, and there was a big war a couple hundred years prior to our current time, and it was pretty ugly. And after the war, you saw a lot of small factions from all over the world. Because communications had improved to such a level that they could interact with each other much more quickly, and in a better way. But they decided to join together in a union because some of the big, mega powerful, like some of the vampire courts, or so there's other courts and establishments that are way more powerful singularly. But the pact came together to try to compete against that, and over the past couple centuries, the pact has become kind of the powerhouse on the planet. Now, there are many pack members from many different factions. There are demons in the pack, vampires. Well, vampires are a type of demon, but the pact is a union of people who agree to work together and with a certain sense of morality, at least an umbral version of it. Nevertheless, there is a major point of contention amongst the pact, and it's not all, but it's a big enough group that the voices do get heard, and it is specifically in regards to uh, 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 the what has become Dove, right? They don't like the oversight. They prefer their own oversight. Dove was put in as an oversight over in of the oversight. In many ways, you guys are kind of almost like internal affairs, right? Is what you have become. And there's plenty of angst against that. There's also support, which is why it still exists. But just you've learned this, which you didn't know in the beginning, but you've learned this over the past 6 months as you guys have been on the ground in Boston and meeting the locals is really what you've been doing. And excuse me. And of course, you have that overarching threat, that the fact that there is literally an archduke demon walking the planet right now, and that's, you guys aren't involved in that. You're not sure. You don't have tons of information, but the fact that Lord Roll is literally on the mortal plane is obviously a big issue. So, but that's in the background as far as you're concerned. You guys are dealing with the day to day of things that are going on. And very, very recently, here in the past week or so, there's been a lot of chatter about you guys from various people that you guys have gotten information from, that the Baron Setagir is in the city, literally in Boston. So that's kind of where we left it. Now, while in your adventures, Tower, you particularly came across a little eatery that makes tacos, Diner Express, created by Julia Lovecraft. Here's the inception. Are you happy now?
Yeah.
And no,
Tower,
there
if you're
are
trying to
no
say something in
afterburners,
food,
Tower. There are no afterburners, just so you know.
those don't come till later,
They
and
don't
you're
come
still
till
muted,
later.
buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we go ahead and get started, there was a question we had to ask him. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. Tower, are you there?
If you're here, oh, there you are. Yeah, there you go.
Tower,
I asked what kind of tacos.
all kinds of tacos, seafood tacos mainly.
Seafood what?
It's
It's just
Boston. It's Boston. What do you
Yeah,
want?
it's a coastal city, man.
Yeah.
I want a burrito.
No, they haven't evolved yet. They haven't evolved. We're
Uh,
we're on taco level
And
here
that
now.
subject has already been covered.
It has. But Tower, there is, like I said, the last week was like a 6 month kind of maintenance, setting up cosmology building type of thing. But nevertheless, there was one decision that they agreed to, but you need to agree to, as kind of a reward. Um, you
Oh,
this place. Seven Orchard Street is a place where you went and did a mission successfully, right? You captured Mr. Nix. And you guys picked up quite a bit of accolade for that because that guy's like most wanted for a century, over a century, right? So, uh, as kind of a reward, you guys were given an opportunity of ownership of this building because a lot of the city's members go to this place because this place is a high-end brothel. There is some small amount of gambling, and GOP is looking at expanding that. And there were some other illicit things that going on that Lady and GOP decided not to continue. But also here with Miss Bethany, um, Mr. Doss, and Gabriel, these three specifically, were given kind of a pseudo pardon for their part because it was found during the investigation that Mr. Dix was coercing them violently.
Mr. Dix.
Mr. Dix, yeah. Was coercing them violently, and therefore they were given a 10-year probation instead of imprisoned, and they needed an overseer. So you guys were given an opportunity not only to own the property and therefore gain profit from it, but also to take responsibility for overseeing this establishment and particularly these three probationaires. And of course, all the other girls are just working girls and stuff like that. Nevertheless, Lady and GOP accepted the offer and even did some work in regards to it. But your character wasn't here, of course. So, do you want to be part of ownership of this and therefore a responsibility, but also profitable gain or not?
Well, I think there's only one real option here. Wench better have my money.
Oh God. All right.
So
So
it's a
is
yes.
that a yes? Do you sign on the dotted line?
I signed slightly to the left of the dotted line.
All right, fine. That's how the world is these days. I watch as from heel versus babyface on occasion, and he was covering there's actually literally a show. I don't know what network it's on, but there's actually a show called MILF Manor. Mhm. And the twist is all of these MILFs who are there to get mannered. That's a nice way to put it. Um,
It's a
the
porno.
no, well, dude, it kind of is because the boys they brought in. This is an actual network show. The boys they brought in to be with the MILFs are all of their sons.
What?
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm not. This
Oh,
is no joke. It's real. It's real. An actual
okay.
network reality show. But whatever. So that's going on. But I just needed to, do a little bit of due
Uh,
diligence there with that.
and Tower's gone now, so he can't hear you anyways.
Jeez,
I don't. He just dropped out.
well, he's having a
But
little
I'm
bit of trouble.
assuming he heard all the important
I'm
parts,
sure he did.
as he
And
always does.
as we left it last time, GOP, you've made a deal with the North End Union, right?
Uh huh.
And they're investing in the renovation of what was that, the third floor?
I believe so. The casino.
The
Yeah.
casino area, which wasn't much of anything. Let's see here. We have the upper floor. You guys have apartments up there. We have this floor. Yeah, the third floor. And the second and first floor are not being used for really anything right now. You guys could choose to put an apartment there instead of up here if you wanted. And of course, in the basement, we have it's kind of split between Mr. Doss's area, storage, and Gabriel. And so everyone's happy. So that has begun about a month ago. So
Welcome back.
uh, we're about a month into that renovation. It's probably going to take, a renovation in that type of thing, probably another 2 or 3 months before that renovation is done. It was a $2 million deal, right?
Yes,
Yes.
$2, and his people will basically run the operations.
And it was a solid fair deal. There was no shenanigans in it. Although during the past month talks with the contractors and stuff, they have suggested they're not insisting it. But they could involve with because these guys are actually looking at this as a profitable thing, right? So they're not looking to gouge you with contractor prices. You don't have that kind of situation. They're looking to spend their money efficiently because this is an investment, right?
Mhm.
If it weren't, they would just gouge you. But that's not what's going on here. They suggest, and it's up to you guys to make the decision, that on the first floor, they could put in like a restaurant slash cafe type of thing for not much. They could do all in that same price. They could get everything done except for equipment, and equipment, of course, is a couple $100,000 probably. But it's just been put on the table and suggested that they could probably squeeze that out. It might not be a bad idea, but we'll leave that in your ear, and you can comment on that as you like.
What kind
Nevertheless,
of diner are we talking?
well, these are the non-Italians of the North End. You know, everyone who visits Boston always calls the North End Little Italy, but they don't like it. So they don't like it. But
And,
these pseudo Italians in the North End, they're the ones suggesting it. But I just just as an earworm, no big deal.
what
Anyway,
diner express and sell tacos and burritos?
no, that's not what
Uh,
these guys are talking about at an Italian restaurant, of course. Obviously,
and I would
obviously.
be
So,
open to that idea.
Italian restaurant that sells tacos, Italian style.
It
Don't piss
it
off the
would
North End Union. You really don't want to do
if
that.
Okay, so I mean, I like the idea. Plus, it's like a more legitimate front at the ground level. You know, so
That's
I
true.
actually wouldn't be against that idea.
Yeah,
Because I
it just
mean,
would involve more investment from on your part, but it is not a bad idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
it just came it popped in my head when I looked at the picture of Anthony here.
Oh, I had one quick question too.
Hmm.
So about the second contact, because I still haven't picked it, because I was going to ask you a
Right,
question on it.
right.
Um, do I? All right, of the people who visit my establishment, um, are any of them like decently connected in either Umbral Affairs or let's see, in was the Radiant Court or any of the major organizations or in like the mayor's office or something. Just people that I can use as an in to get closer to those organizations.
Right. So you want someone that's somewhere. Well, say that again.
Somebody who maybe is in the Winter Court or Umbral Affairs or in the mayor's office or in the Radiant Court. Any of those places would be fine. Just somebody who can get me an in to getting closer to bigger people in those particular
Right.
organizations.
Well, the Radiant Court would not have anything to do with you. I mean, the Radiant Court wouldn't. But you want someone that's kind of that's like a pack member that's high up in Boston, non-Dove pack member that's high up in Boston is what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
and
right?
one of those other organizations that I'm trying to get closer to. You know.
Sure. All right. Well, I just brought up the dice table, and you guys were already over here. Tower needs to come and join us. But can let me see and make sure we can see. We can. All right. Sweet. So I'm just capturing that screen instead of the individual thing. Sweet. I did it. I did it right. GLP. I'm not a boomer. But all right. So let's give you now in this game. I made some adjustments last time. Tower with skill rolls. I am giving standard challenge numbers instead of rolling against you, right? So they go up by 4. They start at 3, which is almost like why bother rolling. So 7, 11, 15, and then 19, etc. I will do it like this, GOP. You're going to make a social roll, and
All right.
there's no. This isn't really in the rule, but I think it makes sense that you are going to whatever we're just going to take your high with what the number is and see that and use that as
I'll
a
need to.
success roll. I'm sorry, Tower. Just hold on a second, Tower. Let me do this first, okay?
I
So
got.
what we're going to do, GOP, is if you roll over 7 or over 11 or over those kind of levels of difficulty, it will establish the level of the contact. Okay, so don't screw it
All
up.
right. Okay. All right. So 2d12, a d10, 2d8, and a d6. An unexpected error occurred. Please try again. Huh. And it just froze now. Well, that's wonderful.
Well, reset and try again. Let me
Yeah.
see, is it working for me? Yep, no
Oh, did it
problem.
come through on your?
No, I didn't see yours, but mine's working.
Chester's
uh
right.
Oh, that's
Chester's
weird.
Lady, can you go ahead and make a roll and let's see if you're working?
It kicked me out. I don't know why.
Well, just come back in. Yeah, lady's working just fine.
I'm working.
Maybe mine just was messing up.
Tower,
It's
you
still
need
in
to get
general.
into the dice area, by the way.
I was asking for a link because the old link's not working.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
And at the
really need
same
to
time,
just join it, Tower. Go join.
I I joined, but for some reason my link
You got to
is
create an account,
Yeah,
basically, is what
you have
it's
to create
saying.
an account. Go create an account. But that's all right. It's easy enough. Here you go. No big deal.
yeah. Achieve that.
Chester's the main man.
Well, I am not a
Okay.
boomer.
Okay. My under player
That was
four,
you work
player
though.
5. Okay, I'm just gonna retype in player 5.
Oh, I
Okay.
played 4.
All right. Now I'm gonna re-roll.
Mm.
All right.
Two
And here we
GOP.
go. I know. Not the worst roll. Not the best.
All
No
right, so let's
ones.
see here. We don't. We're looking for a roll more than an effect die. So, and with the way I'm doing kind of the static challenges, you don't always necessarily need an effect die. The effect die is just kind of adding to the flair of the success potentially, right? But there also allows me to do some roles where there's a required level of effect die, which is kind of neat. I like that. But anyway, what are we looking at here? So we got ourselves a 16 is what we're looking at here. Oh, by the way, every session you guys start with a PowerPoint, so make sure you write that down. Everybody's got a PowerPoint. It's a new session, and I'm starting out with two D6s, which are equivalent to just PowerPoints for me. If I get bigger dice from your guys' rolling of ones, I can do different things with bigger dice. But the D6s are just PowerPoints, and I start with two. But nevertheless, that is a you know kind of normal success. It's not great.
So I could spend one PowerPoint then and
To get
add
a
a dice.
mid-level person, you could. Yeah.
Okay, I'll add another 6 on that.
Okay. So now that total is 22. If we go from 11 to 11 to 15 and 19. Okay. So this is not the top end, so it's not like the mayor, right?
Mhm.
But it could be the lieutenant mayor.
Oh, that's a good.
It's
And
very
I'm
high.
assuming that the mayor's office is aware of the Umbral. Like
Well, you've
they're not
probably
dumb
seen the
about that
mayor
stuff.
in here.
Excuse me. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. No, this is a
So
very hot, very lush and high end place. It really is beautiful. It's a very nice place, and there's plenty of people that just because you remember it's that entire stretch of that building. So they're and the girls are on the third floor, second floor, right? And I think it was on the second floor or whatever, but the girls are down lower doing their kind of thing. But it's also a full on lounge and bar. There's plenty of clientele who come into this place. You guys have noticed that you've owned this for what, 4 months now, right?
what is the
Yeah, 4 months.
the,
Yeah, I think it's 4 months.
his name or her name?
Well,
Well, I would assume
let's
it's
work
a he.
that out.
Could be her.
You guys have seen plenty of clientele come in here, and they don't involve themselves with the girls at all. It's just a very exclusive, mostly umbral place to hang out in the city for the rich people, is what it kind of is. Whereas, because compared to the population, you guys are small, right? Small amount, a small group. The normals, the white collars, and a lot of excuse me, the blue collars and a lot of white collars, they go over to where is it here? Goodness gracious. Here, they go over to Franklin's. Franklin's is where most of the Umbrals in the city will end up, at least occasionally. But the upper up Richie Riches, they like to have they don't want to be with the rabble, right? And
Yeah, I
that
hear you.
and that's what Orchard Street is, So, what kind of level person do you want? Who do you want?
Well, the you said the lieutenant mayor. I mean that sounds good.
Well, the
Or
lieutenant mayor, the
vice
mayor,
mayor.
the upper echelon of the city are all umbrals. This isn't true in every city, but it is here. But then again,
Okay.
as Boston is a very heavy umbral city, kind of contradicting what I just said. But Boston has a history, right? So Lieutenant Governor, let's create
Wait,
this person.
lieutenant governor. That's
Lieutenant Mayor. Sorry,
okay. I
Lieutenant
was
Mayor.
gonna say
Um,
that's a
so
much higher role there.
no, 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 Lieutenant Mayor. We're in Boston's city particular. So Lieutenant Mayor, or vice mayor, I guess it probably would be called in Boston. The vice mayor is okay. Let's create this person. Is it a man or woman, lady? What do you think? The vice mayor of
Uh,
Boston.
I'm rolling 12 sider. Even female, odd male.
Okay.
It's a 4 female.
So okay, so we got a lady. We got a lady. Tower, the vice mayor of Boston is a lady, and she's American, an Umbral American. But of what heritage is she coming from?
Irish.
She's Irish. Okay. So we have a Irish lady, which makes a lot of sense for Boston. An Irish lady who is the vice mayor. We don't even know who the mayor is, but screw that. We don't need a mayor. We got our vice mayor. And how old do you think she is, GOP?
I'm gonna say she's probably in her mid 50s.
She's in her mid 50s. Okay. So with that information, her name is Elizabeth. Write this down. You got it?
Yep, I got it.
Olson.
Is that an OL or an OU?
Yeah, that I love the fact that Tower didn't get that joke. Um,
And I
no,
did.
yeah. Matter of fact, let's give her a little bit of lineage here. Let's play this character a little bit. Her name actually, Elizabeth, is kind of perfect for my generation. There's a lot of Beths, right? With my generation, and let's give her a little bit of lineage to you guys. Actually, why not? As a pact member, her name is Elizabeth O'Hare, and she is actually the which you might not have known initially, but you've learned she is actually the granddaughter of Dr. O'Hare.
Ooh.
What's that?
That's our scientist guy. He's our Q.
He's your Q,
Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
which gives you a little bit of understanding of how old he is, right?
It's
Uh,
super old and Irish.
he is very old and Irish, and he is our Doctor Strange slash Q. But he is in charge of the Sanctorum after all. Okay, so her name is Elizabeth O'Hare. She is the granddaughter of our beloved Doctor, who is another contact of yours, I do believe.
He is.
And keep in mind, guys, you can talk and interact and with everybody, and depending on how you roll and stuff on things that require rolls, that's fine. But a contact is an asset in this game, and they start with a D6, which can be upped with experience, by the way, guys. And sometimes those kind of things can be up just through role playing as well. And in any situation that you think that that dice would apply, you can add it to your pool. Keep in mind that contacts are actual dice assets. We will create a picture for her eventually. Okay. So we have Vice Mayor Elizabeth O'Hare. She has actually, we'll say, write this down. She has been in her position for 3 terms. And this current mayor, which we haven't established who that is yet because we don't really need to, the mayor is more involved with the local police than they are with Dove, although I'm sure some of the upper ups here at Dove have to interact with him or her. But this is actually her second mayor. So she's been a vice mayor for 2 different mayors. So she's actually, which implicates she's actually very good at her job, the management aspect of it, right? The bureaucracy of it.
Mhm.
So there you go. And you know what you should do, GOP, just to save me time? hmm Um, pick a picture for her and create a little bio for her, like you've seen me do, like here with these guys. See, like this. Just give her
Yeah.
her general. And in this game, I'm doing mental, physical, social.
Yes, I
MPS.
noticed you're late, David.
Yes. And then just give her
Dave.
some general skills over here that apply to her being vice mayor and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you could, that would be nice. Alrighty. So that's done. And now, lady, Have
Yes.
you done it? Because I told all of you during this time you could choose a contact. Now, GOP's been doing more of it. That's why he's got two contacts, or three actually, because but that's his character. He's the social guy. But I
I'm
did
not a
say in that
social
6 month.
butterfly. Sorry.
I'm sorry. What was that, lady? Say it
I'm
again.
not a social butterfly. I'm not
Yes,
a social butterfly.
but still, I've given you a contact over the past 6 months, and it's a dice contact. You should choose one. Seriously, think about it. Tower, that goes for
Mhm.
you as well. You have picked up a contact, and it is, like I said, a dice-based contact. So when you guys come up with, in general, what you want, just like I did with GOP, you'll make a roll. Okay,
Okay.
just to see how high placed the person is. Okay, so just think
Okay.
about it, you two, and let me know, and we will do the process you just saw me do. I think that's everything, isn't it, GOP?
Everything that, yeah, that's as I'm aware
I
on
think
my
that's
end.
everything. All right. So last we left off, you guys were all of you were together, and you're standing in front of Jessica Donaldson, who is an officer with the Boston Umbral Affairs, or the BUA. And these guys are all packed. Like I said, this is a packed city, packed as in, the union of factions that came together a couple hundred years ago. But this is a packed city, and therefore they have power. And this is the, Dove. And one of the rubs with Dove is you guys have such access, which has been given to you. You do have access, and you have ultimate authority, which rubs a lot of people the wrong way, right? Ultimately, people always rub against authority. But number two to you would be the BUA. They have a lot of power, and you guys don't have the greatest relationship with them. But then again, you have been in charge. You are the Dove liaison for Boston. You guys, this team is literally liaison. So one of your goals is to improve relationships with the BUA without question, right? But anyway, you're sitting in front of her. She's called you into her to come over, and she has something important she needs to talk to you about, and you guys go over. Now, she's not the boss. As I said before, this is the boss. He's Seneschal Glowling, but he doesn't want to deal with you. He's got more important things to do, so he's put your liaison to his liaison, which is her. She's literally a liaison for the Dove. But you guys come into her office and you sit down, and like I said, these guys aren't very friendly to you. She's not horrible. But she says, we got a bit of an issue, and it's kind of sensitive. We need to talk about it. First thing, I do want to congratulate you on your efforts down in New York. That must have been harrowing. And so thank you for that. So she actually says something nice. But she says that we have a little bit of problem that's kind of rolling off of that. With the Archduke roaming the mortal plane, a lot of people are seeing this as an opportunity, as I'm sure you've already experienced since you've been working Boston here. Um, and she says that, but this might be a little bit more serious threat. And she asks you, how much do you know about the Winter Court?
Should I do an Umbral roll just to like see exactly how
You
deep my
you can
knowledge
if
goes?
you'd like. Sure, I have given you a little bit of information, but you guys could
Yeah,
make that roll. Sure, go ahead.
just to see how
Everyone,
much
give
my
me a number
character
roll.
kind of knows.
We'll say difficulty not very high for these guys. Once again, instead of putting a static number on it, I'm just going to put how high you get depends on how much you know. Go ahead.
My Umbral is basically going to be a 3d8.
Why is Tower holding two positions?
Oh, because he probably because when he logged back in and he changed his thing,
No,
I've
but
got
they're
two.
two active positions.
Oh, they don't look active on my end. That's weird.
Hmm. Well, I'll just leave it be
Yeah.
because I don't know which is which. But go ahead and give me a roll, lady. Tower, GOP. Give
Okay.
me an occult roll. Now you guys know how to do this, right? Where this is a knowledge roll, so we're going to take our mental. We're going to take whatever description applies. We're going to take our occult. If you have a specialty in it, adds another dice and any asset you think you have that would help you in this knowledge roll. Okay?
All right, I got a three. I'm rolling my 3d8.
All
That's
right.
what I have.
No
Oh
one so far. Oh no, there is a one,
no, there is a one. There is a one.
and that's an
Yep, that
eight.
makes
So I
sense.
get an eight sider. Sweet. Night
Yep.
starting off. I can do something with that.
So I
Uh,
fell asleep in winter court class.
well, it goes 3, 7, 11, 15, etc. Right? So it's not a great
Okay,
roll.
so
Yeah, you don't know
we'll
what
Ooh,
it
say
is.
an
that's pretty
8.
good.
Now, the tower is a little bit higher. And
Oh man! Oh my God!
Two
wow,
ones.
Jesus, and
This
yeah,
is how
so
we're
you know
starting.
shit. Now Tower rolled well actually. Which is why I
Oh,
changed
Tester.
over to a limited pool GOP to solve that problem. But
Tester.
Tower,
We
hold on a second, Tower. Are you
I
sure
got
you
you.
rolled all the dice you had to roll? I feel like you have more dice.
That right there was my mental,
Hmm.
my occult, and my
Right,
thingy.
your
I
description. But don't you have like a
yeah.
specialty or something?
I mean, I have perception, eagle eyes, investigation.
No,
Yeah, he
no.
does that. He's got. Yeah, that's essentially. He still only has 3 dice in it.
Oh,
He doesn't
okay.
have.
All
Yeah,
right. All right.
yeah.
All right. All right.
I don't think so.
But that's plenty enough, though.
Um,
Um,
really quick, Chester. When
yep.
we upgraded my character, my occult is now sitting at a D10. So we did do like 2 levels into my occult. So I was trying to bump that up.
Yeah. No. No. That's cool. We need someone strong in a cult. Actually, it's very useful.
I just
Now,
figured I'd let you know.
now keep in mind that with an occult that high, Tower, you can, with your experience points, spec because you guys can buy new abilities and stuff in the game. You can, but there needs to be
Yeah.
a reason for it. Right? You can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm going to take flight now." No, it doesn't work like that. However, with an occult that high, you can start specking into magic if you choose. Right?
Okay.
And it's up to you how you want to spend your experience points. But keep in mind that with magic, if you take like say, you'll choose a magic, say elven magic or sorcery or whatever. That die itself will do all kinds of general sorcery things. And of course, you automatically get an SF special effect with it, one. And you can, as you spec up, you can every 2 levels you get another special effect automatically. You can also buy them, but even just the die itself, like say sorcery, you would roll mental, whatever your occult description is, and that sorcery, and you can do basic sorcery stuff, right? So that's the way magic works in the game. So you could do some little thing like a little energy blast or move an object or change the color of it, some minor thing you can do. A special effect would be a much bigger interaction, but just keep that in mind. Because your occult's high enough to do that. But his role is plenty enough. We have ourselves a 16. That is excellent, above challenging success. So you know quite a bit about the Winter Court. You have done your study tower, and so your answer would be yes.
Gives like extra details, like their founder was this person in this year.
Right, right, right. He knows. So she says good. And just as I gave you a little information, but I'll give you a little bit more with his role. The Winter Court is actually a minor vampire court, right? Throughout the world, there are usually smaller cities But there's a few big ones that are ruled by a vampire court. They're literally ruled by them. Usually they're smaller places that where they can kind of control the in and out a lot easier. And the Winter Court isn't particularly very powerful. It's initially a Finnish court. It's coming out of Finland, vampire court, but they have members from all over the world now, right, in the modern era. But they're not particularly powerful in the greater schemes of things. But here in Boston is their because of the war and stuff, they kind of got devastated. They've made this their new home. Boston is the center of the Winter Court now. And in Boston, they've grown and they've become more powerful. And they are strong in Boston. And they cannot be discounted. Yeah, I think that's enough information. So the Winter Court is a vampire court that is based in Boston. All right. So she says that interacting with the Winter Court is always sensitive because even though they're not a pact member, we do have a treaty. We have treaties with them, and those treaties we've been at peace with them for since the 1880s, right? So over a century of peace between the pact, the pact members in the city and the Winter Court, and therefore it's kind of sensitive to deal with this, and this is why we want Dove to get involved because if we get involved and something goes sideways, it could break the treaty. If you guys get involved, it's less likely to do so. You don't have to take this. This is our responsibility, not yours. However, I think it would be useful to have you on board with this. What do you think?
Well, of course, we'd be happy to help.
Great. She says that she doesn't have a lot of information, but she knows that some member of the Winter Court uh, that people have been going missing. Now, in a big city, this isn't weird. People go missing, and sometimes they're legally hunted by umbrals, right? Because they do have, like you have if you ever go deer hunting and you get little antler tags. Well, they have something similar like that for certain umbrals that must feed on humans, meaning kill humans. Vampires don't have to kill a human at all to survive. They just have blood dolls. But anyway, but people unlicensed disappearances. Let's put it that way. And there's been a lot of chatter about somebody in the Winter Court is gotten themselves into demonology, and there's something going on. Now, she feels that this has probably been going on longer than necessarily the Archduke's arrival, but it's certainly prompted some confidence in whoever's doing this. And that's not good. We, in no way, do we want demonologists in the city. Now, this is something you guys would agree with 100%. There's a lot of really dark shit in your world, right? But demonologists are really not tolerated because that brings just pure chaos, right? Because a demon not only don't the out of control demons, um, not only will they not follow the rules, they'll intentionally break them, and that's not good for business. And the only real information she has beyond that is she does have a name of someone who's been chattering in it in the local pubs, and maybe this person has information. You guys have any questions?
Yeah. Can we get a name on this person?
Yes, she says, she kind of chuckles to herself. His name is Pagan Cross.
Wait, you're serious there?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
As a
Oh
birth
God, it's a
name?
cult leader.
Hmm.
What can she tell us about this pagan?
Well, to be fair, I picked that name out of my memory. I actually met a kid back in the '90s whose name was literally Pagan Cross. His family's name was Cross, and his parents thought it was funny to name him Pagan.
That's
Yeah, it's
that's like
real.
naming your kid Han Solo.
And
That's
of course he
worst.
was a goth. Of course he was a goth. And I found
Well,
a
I
you
mean,
picture
gotta
if
that
like,
your
looks a
fucking
lot like
name
him actually. Huh?
if your name's fucking pagan, you better be a goth.
Right?
yeah, you're like kind of setting them up. It's like,
It
superhero
well,
comic book guy.
wasn't there a study a few years back that people with certain names are like people live up to their names. So if you get like a really white trash name, people tend to try to live up to that name.
Jimbo Robinson? Yeah, no, I understand. That's true.
You
No, it is true.
you get what I'm saying? Like people
No,
like Bo. Have you
perception.
ever seen a yeah? Have you ever seen a city man like a big city slicker named Bo?
No, no.
Exactly.
And perception is everything. So it's actually true. I mean, my name is Chester Cornelius Busby the Third. Yeah, I'm a jazz musician and historian. Are you surprised?
No,
And the languageologer.
Well, that's the
That's
history
where the
thing.
Cornelius
Yes,
comes from.
yes, you're a languageologer. Congratulations,
The
Chester.
word is philologist.
I don't need to know the word.
Yes.
I have my own meaning.
I'm just gonna call you a languageologer from now.
Oh, dude.
Hey,
Just go ahead.
Chester the languageologer.
Languageologer.
Uh,
Oh God. I put a lot
Please
of
don't
hard
let me.
work into earning that title. Thank you very much. But anyway, so
Please,
any
many
questions?
years
really
ago.
Stay
quick,
on
please try
topic.
and make that a running joke with your
yeah.
students.
All
I'm
right,
a
on topic. Yes.
languageologer.
Okay.
My American friends think I'm cool.
So any questions?
Oh, and I think there are a few roles Tower still needs to make from last week's game, but that's
What?
Oh yeah, there
just
were
because we.
some.
I think
What were they for?
how we spent the time. So
Oh right,
'cause I know.
experience. Yeah, that's kind of
He
Yeah.
shouldn't
important.
get it. He wasn't
Um,
here.
but no, because it's a transition period. That's oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Let me do that first. All right, fine. So let's see if I can remember what I did. There was a
Uh,
mental, physical, and social role, and for what was I doing for each level of success
two
was two experience
each.
points, right?
Well, for each role, if you succeeded, you got two XP. So it wasn't like if you went above and beyond.
That's right,
Like I got
because
hero dice, but I didn't get extra XP for
right,
it.
but like because Lady rolled very low on one, and she ended up only with four, right?
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
she
okay,
didn't meet
okay,
the number. Or
yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah, she rolled an 11,
So
and
she
the
got
target
one
number.
XP instead of two. Perfect. All right, cool. So
Oh,
let's go ahead and do that. I need a
So I am
uh,
rolling my mental, physical, and social.
Yep. So what we'll start out with the mental, and I forget how it was all in relation to your work. So I think mental was being a good cop,
here and
social was
yeah,
being a nice cop, and physical was being a capable cop. Basically, is what I was doing. But
Oh, I
so
got you.
yeah, so just give us a role, the mental one, and these are all regards to you doing your job. So mental
It's an 8,
description
a
and
10,
skill.
and a 6
Okay, go ahead.
in that order.
He's
well,
not understanding how to
for
roll.
your knowledge, you have a specialty in your knowledge too. So, what is your specialty in under knowledge?
I don't know.
All right, look, Tower, in this game, when you're making rolls, why are we rolling it individually? I don't understand.
Huh?
Well,
Oh,
There's
the
at the
only
rate
one
I'm
dice at a
going,
time.
oh, I don't have that up right now.
at the rate I'm going, this is the best way to do it because I got an 8, a 10, and a 6. I got an 8, a 10, and a 3.
Yeah, no,
All right,
okay, that's fine, and it's enough. So stop right there, because the challenge. This is a challenge rate, a challenging rating, so an 11, right? So you're over that, and I do believe you get a hero dice from that as well. So the challenge that's a D6 hero dice. Take that.
All right.
And in the static rolling, like I'm doing, hero dice are applied to the current campaign setting threat level. Our threat level for last week was just standard, so a D6. In some campaigns, it'll be like a D8. In ones that I'm trying to kill you, it'd be like a D10, for instance. And those are the hero dice you'll get off of those. in for skill rolls. In combat, it works. It still works the same way. You get my highest dice, right? So anyway, so that succeeded. So take 2 experience points. Now we need to do a social one. Same kind of thing. It's social, whatever distinction applies, and then your skill for what's it called? Interact.
It's influence.
Influence.
You said I got 2 or 3. My bad.
I'll give you the total at the end. Just chill. But write down.
Oh,
You
okay.
did get a D6 hero dice though. Write that down.
Yep, I already did.
And then make a social roll. So this is going to be your social, whatever distinction applies, and your influence. And of course, I don't know your skills. If you have a specialization in influence, you get an extra D6, right?
Socials D6. Would keen-minded sleuth, would that be like a distinction for my?
No, for the first one it would have been, but for this one it isn't. No. This is
Okay.
social. It's talking to people. People on the street are. Are you a cop? Like with GOP, when he made this role, everyone likes GOP because he's the nice guy from Dove, right? Whereas ladies like, ooh, that lady. They don't like her.
Uh,
Probably not gonna make this role. Just the way I had that character built
Yeah,
for
it's okay.
social.
He doesn't have to. Just make the roll the dice, please.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. I think
Well,
it's a
dude,
D4, but
no. All right,
Yeah,
hold
no,
on.
Yeah, my
you
influence is
will.
D4, so don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
you're gonna
Well,
have a social D6 for your ability. I don't really
yeah.
think any of your distinctions quite work for this because I mean,
So it's literally
keen-minded sleuth you
yeah.
could argue is for your detective skills, but
mental, sure.
that
All right, so
yeah.
roll a d6 and a
Um,
d4. Wow, you suck. That's okay.
well, yeah, you got to roll at least 3 dice, so I guess you roll an additional D4 too.
Hmm.
But yeah.
No, no, he doesn't. Not in this situation.
Oh,
But, well,
oh
no,
yeah, because
maybe he
it's not an
should.
effect.
No, maybe you're right. No, yeah,
Oh,
okay. And roll one
okay.
more d4. All righty then. So it could have been worse. We have a 6. It's like what Lady rolled. It's not the required success, but it's not a failure either. So we're going to get 1 for that. And then our physical, which you are going to succeed at, and you might get some hero dice out of it too. So physical means how well you do your job. So take your physical stat, take your distinction that applies specifically to policing, and then give us your whatever's better, fight
Oh,
or shoot, and I know you
fuck,
have an
dude.
asset and you have like a
Holy
specialization. It's
fuck.
like
You're not
5 or
gonna,
6
yeah,
dice.
yeah. Well, you're not gonna use. Remember, you're not gonna use all your normal fighting dice because it's gonna be like,
Yeah. So, GOP, if you could help me tally, because there's so much shit for this. My
okay,
physical's a
so
D. My physical's a D10.
I think he's got
My
at least 5 dice.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
no,
hands down. So my physical's a D10. My tough CQB warrior is a D10 with a distinction of fight and shoot. So
well,
my shoot is a D12.
and your guns are a D6. But
My
I don't
guns
think
are D6 and my fight is a D8.
So roll it.
Okay. GOP, you have
You need
the.
an
Well, give me one.
11 to get full
so.
Need
Let's
XP.
see.
a-
And plus, you have your lucky MP5, so it's another
Oh,
D8.
oh my god. Here, can you tell me exactly how many of what dices I need? When are we? Huh?
Okay, you're gonna need. Let's see. So you've got
2D10, I think.
2D12.
2D12.
Yeah, you've got a D10, a D8, and a D6.
Holy shit.
Okay, he would never be using all these skills at one time.
No, this is his role for this role. It's correct. It is correct,
Okay.
lady. Yeah, it is. But okay, so we have a
21.
15. Therefore, you get a d6 hero dice.
Okay.
You succeed.
See,
So you get 5 XP for the 6 month period. That's how I did it, right, GOP?
I think you didn't give us any if we failed it, but that doesn't really matter that much. It's 1 point difference.
Okay, so 5 XP in total.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. So 4. Sorry, 4 XP. 4. Yeah, you're the same as
All right.
Lady. You failed one, so yeah, you get four XP. And there was no other XP I gave, right?
I think you gave us 5 for the session, but I don't know if that's what if you want to count it just because it was just a session. I wasn't here for that, so it's up to you on that
That's
one.
true. No, you're right. That does put him in the hole a little bit, though, doesn't it? Oh well.
Yeah,
No, you're right though. It is a session, and so he wouldn't get that. But you get those 4 XP though. You get that. So he was loafing during that 6 months. He was just kind of hanging out with the girls and drinking. Doing what he was doing.
Wizard and shit.
Yeah, yeah. But now keep in mind, Tower and Lady, and GOP as well. If you had your context already established in the social role, you could add that dice, right? Because that is
all
social.
right.
Those are social contexts, and in those kind of general social roles, you can add those dice, and of course, in very specific areas too. But in that type of
Could
role, where we're talking about your overall interaction with the city, you most certainly could use your contact dice with that. Yeah.
I have used Doctor O'Hare with my mental because he probably would have been more helping me on the
No.
Umbral scientific
Well, I
side
mean, if you
than
were
like
doing
the social side.
research, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, okay.
But in
I
your
think
general
mine was a
policing,
tech
no.
guy from one of the Ivy League schools on upper
You were
technology.
talking about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But this is after the
Okay.
fact. You already made your role.
Okay.
But just for
Yeah.
future reference, right? You
All right.
you you can do that, and you were some dude. You said it was like Boston Dynamics. He was like an executive level guy. Is your
Yeah.
contact? That's right. You did say that. So right, you got to write him down. Write his name down. Give him a little details. You can
Okay. His name is Dave.
well, I don't need to know. You know, or so write it down.
Okay.
But you can create a little data file, right? You could do like I'm doing here, and
His name is Doug Jones.
like if you look at Jessica Donaldson here, look at the little sheet I put together. For NPCs in the game, this is plenty. You don't have to go through a full dynamic write down, right? You can though. I'll give you an example here. Um, the fourth person who was with you, I did create. She does exist in the world. I just haven't brought her in yet because she's not with you. She's somewhere else. But I did create her. So I do have an NPC for someone who wants to just pop in and try. I could just give them this NPC real quick to play, right? I did put her together. This is your fourth. She's the martyr. She's the one that was really messed up in the you guys were kidnapped and the cultists were sacrificing you, right? She was the one that was really messed up, and you haven't really seen her in years and years and years. But I did create this NPC, and of course I put this sheet together. So as far as a data file, this is a full character. It's just like you. I didn't remember exactly how much XP I had given you, so I just gave her 30. It's probably very close to what I've given you. But anyway, this is a 30 plus 30 XP build from the game. And you see what I've done here, lady? You can do this, and this is everything. This is her whole character. And Tower, you might want to look what I've done here because look how easy that is to read and know exactly what's what, right? I have her mental, and I have her mental distinction right next to it with its special effects on it, right? The hinder, of course, which is simple, just to give you step down to get a PowerPoint, and then she has 2 powers, just like you guys started out with. I didn't spend any points to get extra ones, and so I have that set up like this. I got all her skills over here, and then I have her signature asset, just like I gave you guys, and I have her ability, but instead of giving her, because I gave everybody 2 abilities, didn't I? Yeah.
Well, we've got unnatural and then one through an item.
Right. But instead of her getting getting that, I just pumped 2 into 1. So I took regeneration with her, and I just I just stepped it up. Right. So I didn't give her multiple power abilities, just gave her one. But she has all of these power points spent for her ability to heal wounds, severed limbs, ailments. She can even come back from the dead. So I just put it all into one thing to make it easier for him. But I'm just as an example, Tower. Look look at this sheet. This is easy to read and easy to understand, right? It's all right
Okay.
there. Well, I don't know.
Hmm.
Is it easy? It's easy for me, GOP. Is it actually easy, you think?
Simple enough in this format. I
I think
mean,
so. And
grant
that's
we're kind of
everything then.
using. It's a little bit different, I think, if because like Tower's on his phone, so it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more challenging for him to have
We
everything
could
so
go to
readily
Kinko's and
accessible.
print it out and just leave it on his desk,
So,
right? I mean,
but then we're still gonna, as we play, we're still going to upgrade things. So it's you're
it's
gonna have to
true.
be you're
No,
gonna have to
you're right. But anyway, but I'm just saying that you can do it in a data file like this. You can. And this is a complete character just like you. She has everything on her that you have, and I love it, dude. What a great little format! It's really cool. Or you don't have to go that detailed though. You can, like I said, you can do what we're doing here with our my little NPC files, and just do like this. You get your mental, physical, social. You have some pertinent information, right? This character has more
Mhm.
to her as well. She has all her skills and stuff, but we don't need it. We just need the pertinent information. So she has her 5 things that can be applied to dice, and she's her special effect is she's a puka. So her special effect is a shifter. When 1 point, she could change her shape into an animal form, right? Which is what puka do. But you should create little files for your context like this. I mean, I can do it, but help me out a little. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
It's you guys know how to use a presentation or some kind of word software?
I don't I don't have anything set up on this, but I mean, I it could
Well, you
probably.
can give me the information. I'll put it together for you.
Cell phone?
Just put it together. Send me a thing on the Discord, and I'll put it together in a visual format.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Anyway, let's move on.
All
So
right.
we got all that done. All right. So and she gives you a name, and this guy's name is Pagan Cross. She doesn't have tons of information on him. She just has general information. He is a member of the Winter Court. He seems to be nobody important. He seems to be more of a barfly than anything, and he seems to, the information she has, frequent Cambridge. Now, Cambridge is to the north of Boston proper. If we look here on our map, you guys can see that Beacon Hill and this Back Bay. This is kind of Boston, but Cambridge is across the Charles River, and there's tons of stuff in here, right? So Cambridge has actually got a lot of colleges and things over here, so it is Boston. For without question, but you also have Harvard is in that area, right? But here you can see the greater Cambridge area. But he tends to frequent there, which kind of makes sense for a barfly vampire because there's a lot of students, right? That he can blood dial off of. Because in in pack controlled cities, particularly, vampires don't tend to actually kill. They just feed off of, and they tend to have their little following, their little clique that they feed off of. They tend not to be dropping bodies in the street. Not only does the pack not like it, the courts usually don't like it either because they don't want attention drawn to them. But he hangs around the bars and areas of Cambridge that cater to all the students, right? And that's all she really knows about him. She doesn't have any information as far as she can see. He's an American citizen, born in the 80s, so he's not very old. Um, she doesn't know much more, but he's been talking about, and they know it. They know something's going on. They know that someone from the Winter Court, from the information she has, she does give you a case file, that someone is doing some naughty demon stuff in the city, and that's really not wanted. And this guy's been talking about it, and he seems to be worried about it. Once again, any questions?
Uh, yeah. Do we have anything like a place of residence or like the
No, she
deeper stuff
doesn't.
of it?
But there's plenty of Winter Court vampires that simply live at the court. It's which is a
Hmm.
giant complex of buildings and apartment complexes and stuff like that. It's almost like a little a redoubt in the middle of Boston.
All right. You guys have any thoughts? Anything else you'd like to add on information about this guy? If she's got anything, I'm assuming we would probably just you know collect all the information that you've had.
Yeah, she doesn't
Um.
have much. Yeah,
Well,
but at least you have a place to
I,
start, right?
yeah, we should probably go there and try and find this guy.
Okay. You guys leave the office cordially. Like I said, she's way nicer than the other dude. But and it's important that you guys interact with the BUA and try to improve relationships. It's really important, and you know this. So you guys are going up to Cambridge. I'll just put it here on the Dove offices in Brookline, and it is the afternoon right now. By the time you get up into Cambridge and get yourself all set, you're getting on where everyone's getting out of work, and people are going to start going to the restaurants and cafes, and of course later with the bars. But it is a busy time where people are moving around because they're just getting out of work, there's students moving around and stuff. So it's pretty busy anywhere in Cambridge right now. And of course, you're not exactly sure where in Cambridge he is, but how do you want to go about this?
Do we even have a picture of him?
I would have.
No,
I would have.
no. Well, you
Really?
do, you do, you do. You have a high school photo of him taken from his high school book, because this kid actually grew up in. He actually is from the Boston area, a local, and he grew up in Watertown, which is to the west. But yeah, anyway,
Um.
there's a picture from something in high school, and he just looks like a kind of typical, you know, he would be graduating around 1997, 1998, something like that. So he looks like a kind of standard nerd kid, short hair, glasses, pimples,
Yeah.
white
I
kid.
mean, if he's a vampire, he couldn't have aged that much, depending on
Well, you don't know when he was
But
turned. We don't know because
yeah,
in this world, vampires are a type of demon. All right, so that means that, and the way the vampires and many demons work, uh, he was the vampires mostly are turned where they're recruited, and then they go through a process where they actually are killed. But at the moment of their death, they're brought back with that type of repossessing their body, and which is why it's legal, right? Because they're not taking a body from somewhere else, right? They're repossessing their body in a certain ritual, but it's a very archaic one, which isn't 100% stable, which is why they need blood. They have to
yeah,
reinfuse source energy into them. So it's a lot of people are like, why do that anymore? Right? We have better ways of doing that, but it's tradition, I guess. You don't know what he looks like now. You don't know when he was turned, when that process took place. The only photo you have is a high school
yeah,
one. Yeah.
that's true. But I mean, I would think if he's hanging around, college age people, and he's kind
Bars.
of
He's going to be at least
in that.
21.
Well,
Probably.
yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, he could look younger, but still, be legally 21.
And and the
Yeah.
But
vampire groups tend to like they're kind of shallow. You guys have been interacting
yeah,
with vampires for quite a while, especially in Boston because there's a lot of them. The vampires are really shallow. They tend to be beautiful people, and it's really important to them. I mean, just take a look at Penelope, and
Yeah.
take a look at Miss Bethany. You can tell they're a vampire because this is what you see. A human would see someone with a more natural pallor, but you guys are umbrals, so you can see you have true sight in essence. All umbrals do. So, I mean, it's they're very vain and shallow in many many ways, and they tend to really go toward beautiful people. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, he's probably not going to be that much. I mean, he's going to be older, but he's probably not going to be so much older that we wouldn't recognize him.
that's a fair
You know
assessment.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess we're gonna start bar hopping. Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on my magical asset,
Hmm.
which is the AI call with Paul. It's the name of my asset, and see if Dove's records have any information on this guy.
Hmm. And you
I
find
don't
it
because I don't
very
know if
quickly.
the
You find it
BUA
very
are
quickly, lady. No need to make a roll. Matter of
okay.
fact, you find him on many places: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. He's not subtle at all. Just as an aside, if you come across a vampire and they're old, run. Yeah.
You
Um,
mean like lady who runs that restaurant, that fast food
she's
place?
nowhere. She's
he doesn't
old though.
look old.
She doesn't look old. If you come across a vampire that looks old, that is
Right. Okay.
dangerous, right? That person is way
Gotcha.
powerful. But anyway, just that has nothing to do with it. You find he's very much into the SNS. He's very on the social media.
Why
Um,
doesn't she check social media for pictures? She like shows him the
Yeah,
pictures.
it's like
well,
that's
yeah.
not really good detective work on her part, but okay.
Well, once
I didn't
again,
know if
you
they
don't.
shared information
I'm
or
sorry,
not.
lady. Go ahead.
I didn't know if the BUA shared with Dove, the same information files or not.
Oh,
Right,
maybe that's
and
something we
they
can
don't.
work on.
But then again, keep in mind one because you guys are younger. Your characters, particularly Lady, she is literally her age. Where
19.
you and Tower's characters are a little older than they look, but you are young, Lady. So, um, and you have no idea how old Officer Jessica Donaldson is, and
Okay.
you do one thing you guys have noticed because you are a little bit younger. Um, there's a lot of anachronism among in this world, right? People who are from a different era and they don't really necessarily aren't up to everything. So, it isn't like the BUA being a bureaucracy is necessarily efficient because they usually aren't, right? So who knows? This lady could be 300 years old for all you know, and she just doesn't really know much or think much about SNS stuff because it
I
seemed like she
care.
didn't know. But lady found it
Yeah,
instantly,
I mean
easily,
that might be an avenue in for me to try and build up a good rapport with
maybe.
them if I you know
Yeah.
try and share records kind of thing.
Um,
Well, our
Yeah.
bosses may not want to share records
Well,
with
no,
you.
Well, that's
that's
a
a
possibility
possibility.
too. Yeah, it is, but
Yeah.
you didn't get that feeling though from her. But anachronism is part of the world though, right? Everyone
Yeah.
Yeah,
knows what the word anachronism means, right?
yeah. Well, Tower, are you
Tower,
there? You're muted.
Tower, do you know what anachronism means?
I was trying to figure out how to hit the unmute button. No, please sound it out for me.
Well, no, no jokes aside. Do you know what the word means?
Dead ass. No.
Oh, okay. It means something that is out of place in time, right? So, say you come across a bunch of steampunk role players, right? Now, those people are modern anyway, so they would know. But so if you took someone from the 19th century and put them in the 21st century, they would be kind of lost, right? Because the world is so different from their point of view. That's an anachronism.
Copy this.
Okay, good, good, good. Anyway, you
The
do find
confusion.
pictures. And he even has his own. He has his own site, and has his own YouTube channel.
Hmm.
He
Lady.
even got a YouTube channel.
And
He
you
even has a YouTube channel.
you adore the name of his YouTube channel. You particularly love it because it's Booty Time with Pagan.
Booty time with Pagan.
Hmm.
Does he
Using
run?
the pictures. Hang on. Using the pictures and a calculated rhythm of find out what bar does he normally, through the pictures and everything, identifying
Or
what be
see if you
his hangout.
geolocation
Uh,
on.
Yeah, no,
That might.
that's exactly what she just. I translated it. I understood what she meant. Yep, you find him. He is in Cambridge, is where he hangs out, and the pub crawl street is where he normally is found. This is what he looks like. He's is of course the perfect goth vampire. He's a beautiful boy. And he likes the ladies. All his contact is content is very beautiful women, curvy women, and barely dressed women content. He's really into the ladies, really into it.
All right. Well, if he has a geolocation thing on currently, which bar is he currently
Oh,
at?
right. No, hack that lady. Make a roll. Um, let's
Right.
see. I would say that what these companies would probably have a challenging encryption on them. So we'll say that in order, I don't know, should it be 11 or a 15? Maybe it should be a 15. These companies
Well,
do take
Come on, not a
no,
15.
well, no, they
some
take their
people literally
security
just.
seriously, though. Um,
I was going to say some people just literally have it on
no, no,
because
she
they're
wants to hack the Twitter app or the Tinder app or something like that, and find his location. She's hacking. That's not the same. Um,
okay.
there's probably
Well,
other ways you can
happily.
go around with it, though. But I'll be nice, lady, and make it an 11.
Okay. I'm trying to see what other skills I can add to this.
I know you have an asset. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me go see what my asset is.
That dice gets added too. So it'd be
Yeah,
your
I just
mental,
added it.
your distinction it applies, your
Hmm.
knowledge, skill, whatever specialties you have, and of course, I know you have that asset. Lady,
Then operations. I ended up with 2 10s and 2 8s.
sounds good. Make a roll.
Here we go. Give me something good. At least there's no ones.
Yeah, not as
That's
many
all I got.
today. You only got a 10 though. No, you got a 11. Yeah, you got a 15. So no problem, no problem. And you actually have a 10 as a effect die, so it's very effective. Yeah, you're able to hack into and look through various things, and you do find on his Tender app is on, of course. And you're able to find his location. And he is sitting. I can't remember the name of the street offhand, but he is sitting in that bar crawl area, and he's sitting in a bar. We'll say is called Dudley's.
Dudley Do
All
Right.
right. That sounds exactly the sort of place a goth person would hang out.
Well, there's a lot of
Dudley's,
places that have Irish names in Boston, right?
True.
of course.
All right, let's go. Let's go find this guy.
Now, you guys go in, and of course, the working people are just getting off work, and they're a lot of them will go home. Some will have after work drinks and stuff for sure. But the college kids have been out for a few hours, and they're starting to gather, and they're drinking and partying and hanging out areas. So it is starting to hop up, but it's not like 9 o'clock type of hopping. But nevertheless, you guys go right because she's tracking his thing, and you look in this place called Dudley's, and it is kind of a standard Boston bar. It's got pool tables in the back. It's got those electronic dartboards. It's fairly sizable actually, and there's already at least 20 to 30 patrons in here already. Most of them are starting to eat dinner, right? And he stands out actually quite easily. And he's sitting at the bar, and he's looks exactly like this, purple sunglasses, even though the sun is barely down, but he's up and around, and he is trying to chat up the bartender lady. There's several bartenders back there, and he's trying to chat up one of them, and he seems to be having some success. But you find him.
Um, I'm going. I'm going to direct Tower to sit on the other side of him, and I'm going to sit on one of the sides of him.
You want me to sit on his lap or just next to him?
No, just on the stool next to him, and I'll
Okay.
sit on the stool next to him on the other side. Are you pagan? Pagan cross?
He's like, yeah, yeah. Who are you?
Oh, I am a huge fan of your YouTube channel. Those are some of the best booties I've ever seen.
Oh, booty
Hey,
time? Yeah, baby. Woohoo! He does. Very 90s. Very 90s.
uh, I'm like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
can I ask a favor of you? Could you, can I get your autograph?
Oh, he's like, yeah, no, sure. I know how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah, just make it out to, your favorite Dove agent, Xander Lyons.
Just give it up.
He's like, dude, I haven't done anything, man. What's this about? I'm completely
Can
illegal. Completely
can
legal.
I ask him? Can I ask him for a light for my cigar?
He's like, oh yeah, and he pats himself, and he finds in his left front pocket, he takes out a Zippo and lights your cigar. Which, of course, at this time in Boston, you would have police on you in 2 seconds because they're all a bunch of dumbass liberals in Boston. But
I
anyway,
Let's,
tell him thank you.
yeah, in our world, we'll say that doesn't exist. How about that? So he does.
How
Oh yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
yeah. And he lights his cigar. Hey, your cigar.
uh, let's go have a chat.
He said, what did I do? I haven't done anything. I'm completely legal. I have done nothing. I'm with the winter court.
Listen, kid, you might want to puff of this cigar
Everyone, give me a
before we
spot
start
roll, please.
talking.
What's
A
up?
what?
Give me a spot roll.
Oh, notice? Okay.
Yeah, notice. Sorry, notice. Challenge rating
That's what I'm
15.
trying to do. That's
What
why I
the?
was trying to do stay away from the group and like keep an eye on everything that's going on around me.
Actually, I have perception with eagle eyes in urban environments.
Good. Well, there you go.
Yeah, you've
So
got
So
really high
it's
roll.
a
that's one
it's a
d10, two
15.
d8, and a d6.
Sweet. Make your roll.
1d10, 2d8, and a d6.
10. Oh, it's a D4. D8 to 10, D4. Okay. It's not the best.
1d10, 2d8, and a d6. I believe I said.
Oh, shoot.
Yes, no fucking ones.
Yeah, it's been low today. So we have a 16 with a D10 a 10 effect. Nice. That is certainly enough. GOP? No,
No.
no, no. But no, it is not a failure. Lady?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know you were going to get me. We're
Yeah,
doing a what now?
everyone. You guys are all here.
Observation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You haven't separated yourself from the party yet. We're waiting.
Yeah. Every time you
Because I always
leave,
end up naked and dead,
Oh,
right?
wait, Chester, about these rolls. So, if I choose, because I can contest it, right? Or no?
You can.
Is it only
You
one?
can.
Okay. And if I don't contest it, then I get a point.
Yes, in game. When like the little kind of out of game stuff we were doing earlier, no, it does. Where that those are kind of like world roles, and those are rare,
Okay.
right? But in game, you can definitely contest. So, you can either and so we have started. We are in game now, right?
Okay.
Yes, you guys have. Well, let's do it one at a time here. So let's do it. Still waiting for
I'm
lady.
using one hero
Still waiting.
die, so I spent one PowerPoint.
No, you add your hero dice after.
Why would you do that? Why? What are you doing?
I don't know because I'm bad at social. You remember?
Yeah,
Well,
but
no, we're not
we're
doing
not doing
social. We're doing
social. We're
a
doing
notice roll.
notice. So mental, whatever distinction applies, plus
Oh, okay,
notice.
that was wrong.
Yes, and don't burn any PowerPoints on this. You wouldn't
Okay,
know to burn PowerPoints anyway.
mental.
Yeah. I'm
Whatever
just gonna take.
description applies to you noticing things.
Hmm?
Distinction, right?
Yeah. Well,
There is no
yeah.
distinction.
Yes, you have
There
three
No.
of
is.
them.
Yes. There's little sentences.
The little
Oh,
sentences. Yeah.
it's under that. And influence, focus. I drive. No. Remember.
All right. Look.
Well,
All right. What are your three distinctions, lady? Just
My
read them
best
all.
one is a social aware beauty.
Okay. Once
well.
again, you
Oh,
really need to put those in phrases. Let's start at the top. What is your mental distinction? Because you have a mental distinction, you have a
A
physical
grim
distinction,
Umbral
and you have a
hacker.
social one. So, what is your mental one? Go ahead and read it off to me.
A grim Umbral hacker.
Umbral.
Umbral hacker. Okay, grim Umbral hacker.
Umbral.
All right. That is your mental one. What is your physical one?
Physical one is a memory of military awareness survival.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
It's a
Um,
perfect memory one thing. Yeah.
yeah.
You gave
A
me the
total
word for it.
memory or eidetic memory. And
Yeah.
what is your social?
The one I came up with was a socially aware beauty.
Socially unaware beauty. Okay. So
Aware.
Aware.
socially aware. Aware. Well, there you go. Aware.
Or yeah, that was
Aware. Right. So, what
yes.
is the
Yeah.
dice associated with that distinction? What dice is next to it? What's the
D6.
dice? A D6. Okay. What is your mental dice?
D10.
D10. So we have a D10, D6. What is your notice? The skill, right?
D6.
A D6. So we have a what do you say? A D10 and two D6. Do you have any specialties in your
No.
notice? Okay. Do you have an asset that applies? All right. Well, there we go.
Yes, I forgot the
You
asset.
probably don't have. I actually don't think you have an asset for this at all. I really don't think you do. But I think your asset is your computer, and that wouldn't
Yeah.
apply at all. Yeah. If we were making a hacking roll or a search roll, it would apply, right?
Okay.
But anyway, so this is an 11, pretty good roll actually. It's not a bad roll at all with a D6 effect, but it's not enough in this situation. GOP doesn't have enough. However, Tower does. Tower, um, as you guys are sitting here and talking with little pagan, who's about to shit his pants, um, you're just kind of scanning the room as you do. I mean, you are the warrior in the group, right? And you notice over toward the back, there is a group of three, two men and a woman, and the men are rather burly. They strike you as governmental types, and they're paying way too much attention to you than they should be.
Uh, Signal the GOP with like a bird call that he would
Oh,
know
a bird
that
A
call, a
bird
these
call in the
people.
bird call
bar.
in
I
frickin'
use,
Dudley's in the middle of Boston.
yes, I use a bird call styled signal to alert GOP that someone is watching, and then I take a puff of my cigar.
All right, that's not random at all. GOP, he gives you his established bird call.
Okay. Well, I'm aware. Based off of what kind of a bird did you
A
mimic,
cuckoo
Tower?
bird. A cuckoo bird.
Okay. So I would assume everyone in the bar is now looking at the strange person
Yeah, and
who's
everyone's like,
making bird
"Wow, is he
noises.
giving a code or a signal? I wonder." With that, those three people at the table stand up and walk out of Dudley's.
I mean, I
Uh,
made him fucking leave. I
okay. Well,
eliminated the threat, you guys.
uh,
Is this
look.
Tower? Do you operate in your normal life? Is he like this every day?
Um, not quite to the same degree.
But close enough.
Wow, and
And
no one's killed you yet?
I hope not. I think
Well,
I'm still alive.
well, you're only 21. I guess give him time.
Yeah. Okay.
Time to
I'll
take
make it
himself out of the gene pool.
Uh, should I do a social roll to get this guy to walk outside with me? Like, does it seem like he's gonna resist? Like, he doesn't seem like
No,
the
he's
type.
terrified. Yeah, yeah.
Come on, let's go have a walk outside. Get some
So,
fresh air.
where do you take him now? There is, of course, the front door dumping onto a very busy, bar crawl street. Of course, there is an exit in the back as well, which would take you, you assumingly into an alleyway.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of go around back because obviously this is not a normie conversation.
All right. And of course, there's the occasional kitchen cook or someone in this alley, but mostly it's pretty empty. And he's protesting his innocence. I've done nothing. I really haven't.
Yeah. What do you know about the demonology?
Oh, the demon
And
thing? Oh, dude. Yeah, that's serious shit, man. Have you guys ever interact? Oh, you're Dove. Of course you have. Um, yeah, this dude that's like stealing people and he's turning him into these weird, creepy demons.
well,
I
you
take
might
a
be able to.
vicious puff of my cigar.
I'm sorry, what was
y-
that, Tower?
I take a puff of my cigar and I pass it to GOP because he probably needs it too.
He's not gonna smoke your cigar, dude.
I'm kind of busy at the moment
Yeah, he's not gonna
talking
do
to
that. You
someone.
keep your own damn cigar. But go continue.
Well, you might have thought that maybe that might have been the reason we came to talk to you. Because we're kind of curious.
Well, no, I I really didn't think about it. I just, it's some stuff I've seen and heard, and it's scary shit, dude, man. The Archduke is walking, man.
Oh, so this is about the Duke.
I don't know, but I mean, that's scary enough. It's demon, right? And of course, completely oblivious to the fact that technically he's a demon too, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming he has different, you know,
Perception
like
is
it.
different, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, why don't you tell us what you know?
He says, "Well, there's this guy, you see, he's over at the Winter Court, and he's starting to spill the beans. And as he begins to do that, those three, with an additional dude in a suit, enter the alleyway and walk up to you. And it's become dark enough that you can see the vampiric glare in their eye. It's one of the telltale signs of them. They're not glittery; their eyes are shiny at night. Okay, I met
I
you
I
halfway. I met you halfway.
I turned I turned over to them. Oh, there you guys are. I thought you were afraid of birds or something.
This man here in the front says, "Mr. Cross, come here." And Pagan sees him and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Abrams," and he immediately shuffles over them like a little puppy dog. And
Now,
Mr. Abrams takes a step forward and he says, "So what would Dove have anything to do with the Winter Court?"
we've been hearing some strange stories going around. Didn't exactly know who was behind it, but figure we get a little look, figure out exactly what's going on. It is kind of our job.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do not harass our people, or we will put an official complaint in.
Well,
Sir,
I
we're
wouldn't.
just trying to save the world, you see.
He doesn't respond.
Yeah. What my associate is trying to convey is that if there, say, was someone who was performing certain acts that, well, let's say, are not exactly within the realm of legality, that's it's probably I. Okay, so would I be able to glean that the treaty would that they've had with the Winter Court would not allow them to do something like this?
Absolutely.
I'm
Matter of fact, you
assuming.
would you would expect the Winter Court themselves to do something
I
about it.
am doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
go ahead.
little my little special asset is sending a message to Dove for Miss Jessica that the Baron has is is Baron, right? That's walking around.
What Baron? What are you talking about?
Oh, the Demon Baron.
I mean, the one you guys
When
saw,
he,
the Archduke.
Yeah, but he was saying that he wasn't saying that it was him who was doing this.
No, that's not
He
what he
was
was
saying,
saying. He was just scared
yeah,
okay,
because everyone's on high end. Because,
yeah,
even
okay,
though
okay,
you guys deal with, there's three types of people in the world. You have humans, you have umbrals, literal umbrals like you guys,
and you have
whether they be
demons. Yeah.
directly tethered or not. And then you have demons, which are people that were dead that were brought back in one form or another. And there seems to be hundreds of different ways to do that. But no, everyone's on high end because an archduke walking Earth is not a good thing for anybody. It's not. I mean, there might
mhm.
be some cultists or certain individuals that think they can gain from
Okay.
it.
So the message would read: If we disappeared, it's shorthanded. Winter Court involved in demonology, and send it.
Wow, do you
Uh,
really send that?
um,
Do you really send? Holy shit! All right,
If we disappear, our body's gone.
You're not
Then
thinking it
maybe
through, lady. You're not thinking it
I'm not
through.
okay.
No, because
Okay,
you just accused the Winter Court of demonology.
yeah, and we don't
I did
really
not.
know.
That is a frickin' international incident.
Oopsie.
I mean,
Jokes.
even if he would have said something like, "If we disappear, Winter Court," then at least that would have been
That's at least
like,
better. Yeah, that's better. But
yeah,
to accuse them of demonology, that's big deal. I understand that it's all demonology in a way, but you have to understand in this world there is a distinction between
Okay.
legal possession and illegal possession. And demonology is a word that is applied wholly in the illegal side of it. Like I said, it's a matter of perception. Like Pagan was just talking to you and he was going on about how scared he is about a demon, high-end demon lord walking the earth, even though technically he is a demon. But they don't see it that way. It's seen as being different. And demonology is the trigger word, right? It's separated. What the vampires or any other group do to their tradition of making demons, it's not called demonology. They all have their own words, thaumaturgy, or whatever their words are. But demonology itself is very specifically a illegal act. Maybe I didn't lay that out clear enough.
Maybe I jumped the gun then.
Yes, you did. So
Because
let's
the
say you
way he was
didn't send
talking
that.
is that he's taking and he's misshaping these people, not turning them into vampires. He's misshaping the
Yes, he
other
is. There's
people
someone
that
using
disappeared.
demonology to do right. You're right, but we don't know who.
yeah,
All Pagan was able to get out to is with someone at the Winter Court. That's all you knew. Is he
mhm.
said someone at the Winter Court is twisting people with this vile demonology, right? So we don't know who. It's certainly not the Winter Court. That would be such a breach of the treaty, and it would be instant war.
Okay, so then maybe it's a period.
The world on
That's okay.
fire.
It's okay. We're world building. We're learning, right? We're learning. Uh,
She'll probably request about clarification.
well, I'm just
um,
saying, lady, you would have known this anyway. You have studied
Okay,
for a
okay, it's
decade,
something I
right?
should have known.
You
Okay,
would have known. You
all
would
right.
have known. There's no way you're going to accuse the Winter Court of something
Okay,
like that. That's pretty serious,
then
right?
the thing is, investigate cross. Winter Court showed up if we disappeared.
All right, send
Or
me an update on where you are
yeah, if
because you're wondering
something
what's going
happened.
to happen in this situation is fine. There's
Of
nothing
course,
wrong with that.
killing us would break the treaty too. So,
No, it wouldn't.
mhm.
oh, it
Yeah,
wouldn't see.
well, because we're. I mean, it probably wouldn't be good.
No,
There probably would be
but they would
And
consequences,
I do
but
have a really
consequences.
strange question,
Yeah.
and this comes back from the original time when we were kidnapped and everything.
hmm
They died, but I didn't. Correct?
These
I was
guys
scarred.
were those two were in cardiac arrest for sure, but they were brought back. Although there is a taint on them, you have no taint. The girl, I forget what I called her. I did create like an NPC for the fourth one, right? Um,
Yeah.
let me go back and find her real quick.
Trying to
Like I
remember.
said, if anyone wants to join in and come and play, you can make your own character. But I do have an NPC that you can come and try it out. I did create one. What's her name? Alexa Brixton. Yeah. She was dead. She was badly
Yeah.
messed up. Yeah. Um, where you guys were nowhere near that level. Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay.
okay. I think are we good? All right.
Okay. All right. So
Uh,
yeah, go continue. GOP.
I'm going to
Disaster
attempt.
averted.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt a persuasion roll.
Okay.
On these guys. I'm assuming they aren't
Well,
pushovers,
tell
but
me what you want to say. Because you're talking to
oh
Mr. Abrams is all you know, because he did say Mr. Abrams to this guy. So
yeah.
we'll just go ahead and do the dialogue first.
Now, because they did. Did they mention that they were Winter Court? I forget.
No,
Was
they
that
have
meant?
not. The
Okay, that
screen
wasn't
has.
mentioned.
The screen is, telling you they are.
Okay,
You
yeah.
can assume they are, because he immediately said
Well,
Mr.
yeah,
Abrams.
but
They're
I'm
vampires.
not. I'm
Um,
my
yeah.
character
The
is not
girl
gonna.
in the back is kind of hugging Pagan, by the way, and she's licking his ear, and you're not sure whether he likes it or not.
All
What the
right.
fuck kind of kink is that?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. So, anyways, I'm basically going to say, look, this is some official Dove business, and honestly, I don't know who you guys are. So, I mean, if you want to show me some ID, because we're kind of looking over some pretty serious stuff, you know.
He takes a step forward in a very ominous way, reaches into his jacket and pulls out a license. Not a license, a badge actually. And he shows it to you, holds it up in front of you.
Uh,
Doesn't give it to you. He shows it to you. And you
Fair enough.
can't read most of it because it's in some weird foreign language. But you do see Winter
Yeah.
Court is written in English. You don't know what the rest of it says.
Like Winter Court. I haven't got much chance to interact with you guys. I'm I'm Detective Lyons, and I hold my hand out. I'm the liaison for Dove.
Yes, I know right well who you are. The new
I
Wonderful.
liaison
would
for
have
Boston
I'd
for
say
Dove.
it.
I'm sorry, what was that, Tower?
I also introduced myself as the British guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's going to get you guys killed. You know that, right, GOP?
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. I'm.
Either him or
Why do
Lady, overreacting. Either one of them is going to get you guys
I
killed.
have? Well, the thing is, I'm relying on the fact that I have such high social ability that
Well,
I
you
can.
need it.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I need it. So it's like, if I didn't have such insanely high social ability, we probably would be dead already. So, that's our ace in the hole is my ability to talk out of the situations my teammates
And
create.
if we can't talk ourselves out, I'll shoot the shit out of them.
Yeah, Tower, you do. How old's your character, Tower? How old is your character? Like almost 50, right?
30 something.
No, no.
No, he
No, he
would
was
be in
younger.
his 30s. He would be in his
Yeah, he was
30s.
because he was younger than Xander's, and Xander's was only in his 40s.
Okay, so you're in your 30s. You're, arguably a man, right?
I mean,
Um, and you're a professional on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, continue,
uh,
GOP.
okay, thank you. Look, since since what's going on and everything has been going so crazy, I'd like to, at least discuss this with that. We are looking into a particular incident going on recently. There seems to be some sort of demonology occurring. You know, we're just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well,
So,
that would be your business. But he's got
that's
one of his own. The big guy in the back says, "We got to fight or what?" He looks back at him, leers at him a bit.
well, I don't want to fight. I'd like to keep good relations going. but I don't see a reason to fight. Do you?
No,
Like, clearly, you guys don't know anything about this.
clearly. We will
Yeah.
be seeing you then. And he kind of holds up his hand and waves it back, and you see the three of them escorting Pagan starting to leave the alleyway. He stands leering at you, though.
Oh, make
Like
sure,
they abducted him?
No, I'm gonna also say like, make sure that guy gets home safe. I'm sure we're gonna want to talk to him in the future.
Yes, winter court
Just
business
kind of
is
like,
winter court business. If you wish to discuss anything with any of our population, I suggest you go to the court itself and put in an inquiry.
well, that's good to know. Have a pleasant night.
He nods to you, and as he turns around, he disappears into a cloud of mist. The other ones they're off. They're further along there, but they're walking. But he disappears into a cloud of mist. And that's fine. It's good. Now, for this situation, you get more experience points if you fight, but not fighting is also very valuable. So everybody take. Normally, you get 3, so everyone take 2 experience points for that encounter.
Oh,
Mhm.
so we were
Well,
supposed to fight them.
No, you aren't.
well,
That's the better solution, which what GOP did. You weren't. I did have set up. This was the first one for me to attempt to do that kind of mob way to run a combat. I did have that
mm,
set up. This would have been a solid fight, but you guys would have took it probably. But
yeah. Well, I was just thinking probably. Look, if we got to deal with the Winter Court, you know, killing their guys, like, granted, clearly they know more than they're talking about because why else would they be? Would there be a bunch of them watching this one particular guy?
right,
Like,
no,
obviously,
obviously, right, obviously,
yeah.
yeah,
But I'm not going to start offing Winter Court enforcers.
that would be bad.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
very stupid idea. So that's why I'm like, I'm not trying to fight these guys.
However, Pagan clearly knows something, and you weren't able to get the
Does
information other than someone in the winter court. That's all you got.
well, I have this guy's info, so at the very least, if I go to the Winter Court and this guy wasn't operating under their business, but he was,
Sure.
doing something shady, I've got that to go with. At
And
the very
his
least, it's
and
something.
his badge just had Abrams on the bottom. It didn't have a first name. And you couldn't
Yeah,
read the language that was on it anyway. But vampires love, like I said, they're kind of shallow, right? They love
and
their
they like to have
archaicness and stuff, huh?
one name. They really like to, you were saying before
Yeah,
vampires really like to
one
only
name
use one night. Anyways, yeah. So
usually,
it's
yeah. Whereas pagan is super young, right?
yeah.
He's
All
still
right.
he's still pagan cross as he was born. He's not become something more. But nevertheless, okay. So we know there's information to be gathered, but we don't have it. Uh, um, what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, the only logical step, because we know that the Winter Court is probably the only logical place to go at this point.
Sure,
So I would assume probably talking with them about what was told to us. I mean, obviously we're not gonna go into detail in front of everyone, but it's gonna be like we'll try and get a meeting with the leaders of the Winter Court to discuss this issue
sure.
because it is an important issue to discuss.
And you
So
guys have never interacted with the Winter Court yet, so that's
We
like the
were
last.
introduced, were we not?
No, you were not. Yes,
Uh,
this is the
oh,
last
okay, the
faction in the
Asian
city, a
guy, the
big faction
dragons.
that you
Okay,
don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
But like I
so
said, it's kind of a tenuous situation. They are not part of the pact, but they've been in the city longer than anybody, right?
well,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
and I'm assuming that if it is just one member of theirs going rogue, that looks bad on their whole organization, and that's not something that they would probably want. I would assume,
hmm
you know,
it would
being
be a breach
being
of
an
treaty. It would be. Yeah,
and that's bad on all of them.
yeah,
So that's why I'd like us to go back to Dove, set up a meeting with their leadership. Like let
Maybe
let
inform boss.
huh?
Maybe give the information to our boss too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
going to go back there, speak to our boss about what we heard, and then set up a meeting. Have them set up a meeting with Winter Court.
So who you got to go back and talk to? You got to talk to you got to report to Mr. Burquest himself. You got to talk to Ninma. Um,
It would probably be Birdquest. I mean, Burnquest, because Ninma's more. I feel like, well, I
she is
would I would
mission
think
control.
Ninma. Yeah, she is.
But you can go to
So I mean,
Burquest. He's fine.
I could talk with either of them. I mean,
You could.
honestly, and if he tells me to talk to her, then I'll talk to her. But I figure he's probably going to be more. He seems more street level than she seems more like if there's
Battle
extreme
needed.
action going on. You know,
Yeah,
but
sure.
that's
All
maybe.
right. You guys head back to the Dove headquarters. And you go in specifically to speak to Mr. Burquest, who it's not very late in night. He usually does go home at a somewhat reasonable time, but he is here, and of course he takes a meeting with you, no problem. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, I let him know the situation of exactly what happened. We need to have a meeting basically with the Winter Court to kind of we're trying to basically suss out who is the one who's kind of is involved if this is even happening at all because we still don't really know for sure. All we have is the word of some random guy, you know.
He's like, yeah, that is definitely troublesome. We have enough troubles as it is. Well, you are the liaisons. Make the call and set it up. Everyone knows. He says we've made it known to all the councils, chiefs, bosses, or what have you in Boston that you are the Dove liaisons. So make a call, set it up, do your thing.
Okay. Well, I figured we'd discuss it with you before, just make sure there's no
I
incidents that occur.
appreciate that. Yeah, especially in dealing
Okay.
with Winter Court. He says, step carefully. Step carefully. The treaty has been in place for a long, over 100 years. And there's been times where that treaty's been close to falling. And right now, there's a lot of tension in the city. And the Winter Court is put forward a lot of official complaints. Let's just say that, especially in regards to us, Dove. What's new. But yeah, be cautious.
Have you ever known me not to be cautious as I take a bite out of
He's
a
looking
donut?
at Tower.
Yeah,
Is there somewhere I can refill my water bottle, sir?
my God.
Sweet.
I grab him by the collar and we start walking out.
All right.
Oh,
So, um,
like a
it is
dog.
um, it is 7:30 at night, and of course, there's always dispatchers and people in the Dove, obviously always, right? But most people are going home or have gone home already. If this is a normal job, right? And
Yeah.
but of course, you have access to computers, phones, and all that kind of stuff, obviously. And the Winter Court, they're just They're starting their day.
Um. Yeah, I'm going to get a hold of well, I mean I'm assuming I would look at like who exactly is in the Winter Court to try and figure out who I can contact that
Well,
would
there
keep
is someone
information.
in mission control who does run the
That's
night
true.
shift
Jessica.
that who probably has all that information.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
speak with them and get all the proper information, out of Jesse.
Aw,
Officer Wilkes.
Officer Wilkes.
Uh,
Well, agent. They use the word agent.
I gave
agent,
her a
yeah.
cup of black coffee
She says
because I
thank you.
know she
She's
was
the
about to be
sweetest, cutest
off.
thing ever.
Hmm.
I couldn't resist using that picture because damn.
Can I give her tea?
She would thank
You're
you.
just gonna hand her a random thing of tea. You just not even say what it is. You just hand it to her.
It's
Um.
also in a Ziploc baggie in my pocket.
Oh God.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, I just couldn't resist to put her in here. GOP, you understand? I know you do.
I know. I know.
She's a redhead.
She's a redhead.
I know too.
Yeah, that's true.
We know, Chester. We know. Um,
I'm really surprised your wife doesn't have a red wig in the closet somewhere.
Oh, we don't role
that's
play.
their private business, not ours.
We don't do role play. He
Yeah,
just gets the business.
yeah. No, we
It's
don't. I mean,
Chester wears the red wig in the
yeah, that's right.
family.
No, we've never been into that. I've actually never been with a girl that's into that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Oh,
And yet
sorry.
we're in such a nerdy community.
I know.
It's like
I've
I
never
must have
been
came
into
later in
LARPing.
life.
But anyway,
Um,
you talk to Jesse. Come on now.
yeah, I know. Well, we're getting distracted. Hey, Jesse, I need to speak with some higher ups in the Winter Court. It's kind of a hush hush kind of thing. Don't
She
wanna don't wanna cause a stir, but it kind of needs to be discussed.
she
Who do I
chuckles to
call?
herself. She brings up on her. She sits down because usually she's doing a lot of stuff on her tablet, as per the picture. But she sits down at the computer and actually brings up on the big screen all the different contact information you might want to make. And But she is kind of chuckling to herself. He says, you're not going to get anywhere that way."
Well, how about you? Since you clearly know what you're doing, how about you help me out here?
She says, "Well, you're going to make a call, and you should do that. And they're going to say thank you very much. They'll probably call you back within an hour, and then they'll have a meeting set 3 or 4 months out.
I
That's
see.
what's going to happen. And then they'll probably delay the meeting once or maybe 5 times. You could easily be looking at a year later to get an audience.
So, what
What
would
do
you
the
recommend?
Republicans?
I would go talk to Penny.
Who's
That
that?
is an excellent suggestion. Franklin's.
Copy this.
Well,
This is when I proceed to hand her the tea as a thank you gesture.
And oh, thank you.
so
You're so sweet.
The tea is
out
also
of
sweet Garland. There's sugar in it.
character.
Yeah.
Uh, so Penny is a you said she was a princess, right, or something like
She is a
that. She was
princess, yeah. You don't know her whole story. You guys have certainly been to Franklin's at least once or twice, or maybe a lot. You've been here for what, 7 months? You've been in Boston now. You've certainly been
Mhm.
there a couple times. Franklin's is where the locals hang out. The local Umbrals hang out. It's not Dove affiliated or government affiliated or even Pact affiliated, but it's where they hang out. And just simply for your job you would have gone in there a few times just to get to know people, right? It is kind
Yeah,
you are
we've
yeah,
been in there before.
yeah. And over that period of time, you've learned exactly who she is. You don't know why she's slumming it and running but then again, she is running the number one umbral bar in Boston. I wouldn't call that
Probably
slumming
a
it. um
great place for information.
Maybe there's some more going on here, but you do know, everybody knows, it's not a secret at all. She is literally a princess of the Winter Court, literally,
Okay, she's not a princess who also happens to be in the Winter Court. She is a princess of the Winter Court. All
of the
right.
Winter Court. Yeah. Now keep in mind
Doesn't mean,
that
yeah.
I'm sorry, lady. What?
Go ahead, please.
Oh, no. You keep in mind that you would know that she's a princess because she is a huge, gigantic air quotes daughter of there's a queen here that runs Boston actually. She's a daughter of her. What was her name again? Annabelle, I think it was, or Isabel. She's a daughter of Isabel, but with vampires, because you've studied, right? They're not related to each other hardly. Sometimes you run into families, but in general, they use familiar words, even though they're not real. It's just how
They're related
vampires
by
work.
blood, but
Yes.
not quite the same way.
So more than
Or like
likely,
siring
Queen
someone
Isabel
else.
is probably her sire. It's
Yeah.
probably how it
Mm.
really is, but you don't know that. But she is well known in the city to be a princess of the Winter Court, and she runs Franklin. So not only have you been in there before, you've most certainly spoken to her because she's like always there.
How many princesses are there? Like, is it a big a big group of people, or is this like
You don't know tons of detail. Tower knows more. And
true?
Tower answers that question. And Tower says that, well, there are five princesses and three princes.
So it's not that big of a group.
No.
Like, I mean, okay. Well, that's good to know. That means she probably does have. I mean, if it was like 50 people. That's a lot less leverage than eight. So okay, cool.
Yeah, and of
Um,
course there are probably other nobles in the court and high-ranking
yeah.
people, and but Tower would tell you that the assessment of Dove, of course, this is not accurate, but the assessment of Dove is there's probably upwards of 300 to 350 vampires in the city that are Winter Court.
Okay, but
I
like
tell
in there,
GOP everything.
Yes, I know you
I'm
do.
just curious, like the upper tier, like
Yeah,
how
the
many
upper
people are upper
tier
tier?
is the Queen Isabella and her house, which is I just gave you the princes and princesses, and like I said, they're not really because one of the princesses, it's well known that it's also her lover, right? And there's a couple other houses which I haven't created them, but there's a couple other houses that are been here a long time and they have some authority like nobles, right? So you're looking at maybe 10% of the vampire population would be considered nobles.
Okay, so like 30 then it would
Yeah,
be
30 or
because it'd be
so. Yeah.
35.
Yeah, and you got a good 300 just Winter Court vampires, and of course there are other vampires in the city, but at much smaller numbers. I mean, we're looking overall, the number of Umbrals in Boston is certainly under 10,000, right? And the Umbrals is including, actual Umbrals and demon Umbrals as well. So, 10,000 is probably a solid number. And the majority of that is going to be minor wizards and witches and things like that. Little stuff.
All right. Well, let's go see Penny then.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
would since I'm very friendly and I get along with everyone. Would I know? Does she prefer to be called Penny or Penelope? Is it
Do
is
you
it one of
ask,
those
do
things?
you
Or like
ask Jesse?
no. Like my character, because my character has been all over the place for like 6 months. I would assume, and I've been to Franklin's like probably multiple occasions.
It
So
is
I
a
mean,
smart place to hang out, actually. It's smart for your job to
yeah.
hang out and make friends in there. But you do hear a few people call her Penny, but only people who are friends of hers. So,
Okay, so
therefore, Jesse saying just offhand Penny, there's information in that response.
Like Jesse's a friend of
yeah,
hers.
yeah.
That's
Hey
right.
Jesse, how or Detective Wilkes, sorry. Well, I don't know. I'm probably friendly enough with everyone. I can do first names, but
Yeah, you can call her Jesse. She's probably preferred it.
hey Jesse,
Why he's hitting on Jessica, uh, I'm going to look at financials of the various families, that whatever I can get a hold of about the
Sure.
court, and look at who's been doing good, who's been doing bad, financially, and
Okay.
see if there's like an uptick in one of them that may be doing something suspicious.
You don't see any
Mm,
upticks, and of course, this is just kind of a very cursory search, right? If you
yeah,
put, actual research and you can gain more, but you don't see anything like that. It is, and you might have already known this, to be fair, if because you're probably studying Boston, right? I mean, it is your life now. But nevertheless,
yeah.
no, the Winter Court families are the richest people in Boston. They control huge amounts of lands. They've been here since day one, literally coming over with pilgrim groups, right? They are the richest group in here, which is why their authority is so important. The pact normally the pact is, you guys know this, they would you know strong arm smaller factions into joining them. They're kind of have a little bit of
mhm.
that reputation. But it's for the better good, as is said. They can't do that with these guys because they're very powerful. Not only physically, vampires can be quite devastating. That's why people still it's a insufficient it's an inefficient way to make a demon because of the blood requirements, and the sun direct source is very damaging to them, but they can be physical absolute powerhouses, and that's why they keep doing it. But financially, these guys are dangerous too. They are the richest people in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, you were talking
I
to
would
Jesse.
assume. Yeah, I would assume I couldn't ask her to come with us because obviously that wouldn't be like she's on duty, so I don't think that would be the sort of thing. But
But she's like,
I
"Yeah, I
asked.
am busy, but I could send a text for you."
I would appreciate that. So I was gonna say if she couldn't come, if I could name drop her, maybe that would help us out of roles or something. But that's fine. Yeah, no, I would appreciate that. Just let her know that we're coming and we have some very important things that we need to discuss with her.
Sure. She gets on her phone, takes out her private phone, and he does what the young people do, and quickly sends a text. She says, "Oh yeah, by the way," she opens her desk drawer and she takes out a little present. It looks like a present box, and it's wrapped with a bow, and there's like a lollipop, a red lollipop that's tied in with the bow, and it's a little pink velvet type of present box. She says, give this to her. I meant to go over, but I got hung up last night."
Oh, absolutely. You got it. All right, guys. Well, we need to
Was it
get
a
going.
birthday?
Thank Huh?
Lady,
Jessica, was it a birthday or something?
she says, no, it's just a gift. It just kind of, she says, it's just, well, she gave me something.
Yeah, we out of character. We know what's going on. Um. Okay. I'm like, well, thank you very much for your help on this, Jesse. We appreciate it.
No
And
problem. And she goes back to doing her job. So you guys go down the street because Franklin's is not very far from the Dove offices, right? Franklin's is set up in your area of Brookline, right? And keep in mind, Brookline is where the rich people are in Boston, right? It's kind of a little bit more posh than other areas, but it is in that area and it's not far away. So you guys head down to Franklin's, and it's now getting on 8:15 in the night, 8:30 maybe, and the place is definitely hopping. This is actually a fun place. It's well designed. It's well run. The food's pretty good actually. It's got a full-on kitchen in there. And this is more of a dinner lounge place than it is like a bar. The old Tail, which is literally in the same building as you, it's on the ground floor there. This is more of a bar, right? With kind of bar
hmm,
food. This is actually has real food. You guys head over, and the place is hopping. You get the band up on stage. People are chatting, laughing, having fun, eating. This place is always fun. You've been here for a while. You've never seen any trouble here either. Um, the bouncers in this place, there are a couple. They keep themselves very inconspicuous, however. They're not in your face type of bouncer, but they're clearly winter court enforcer types. But you guys go in there, and of course, as you can see here, the band is all vampires too. But there's not just vampires. There's all kinds of people in here. This is really an open place for all umbrals. And of course, Penelope's doing what she does. She kind of floats through the crowd like a butterfly, and she's a little she's chatting with people. She's a God damn it, what's the word I want? GOP. My brain is leaving me.
a social butterfly. I don't.
Thank you. God damn
Ah,
it. She's a little social butterfly and just bouncing through the place, talking with people, chatting, and she's talking to a group of people who now that you've been doing it for a while. These are a group of umbrals, not demons. A group of umbrals, and they are Merovs. And the Merovs are quite a powerful faction within the Pact. Matter of fact, Kirk Burquest, your boss, is a Merov. The Merov are coming from the Merovingian tradition, right? And you see a bunch of them. She's talking with them. You probably recognize one or two of them because, like I said, the Merelds are quite influential inside of the pact itself. What do you want to do?
Hey,
Um,
really quick, you guys. If I randomly cut out, it's because I just realized my phone's at 1%. I have it on the charger, but if it happens, that's why.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
all right. Um, I go over to Penelope and I'm like, hey there, Penelope. Jesse sent you a text
Oh yes, yes,
saying to
I saw.
expect.
So she takes out her phone, and her phone is, of course, in a pink casing with rhinestones all over it, matching her fingernails, which she had done meticulously. And I saw, yeah, yeah. Well, how can I help you?
Can we go speak somewhere private, please?
Oh, it's serious. Very well.
I'm afraid so.
And she kind of leads on. You guys follow, and she goes to a little back lounge area, which you guys probably haven't been in before. And there's very few people in here. She goes over to a little side booth and has a seat, and she kind of pats on the seat for you to have sit down as well.
Thank you. First of all, the good news. Jesse had us bring this present over to you.
Oh,
I
and
hand her.
she giggles and bubbles, which I'm not going to do because I can't.
But you can
She
try.
I know. Okay. But
Meow.
Oh my god, that just
uh,
happened.
it did happen. It did.
Somebody
But
save that.
she immediately is disinterested in you, and she's opening the present. She opens it up. She takes it out, and it's a small box, but rolled up tightly in there. She pulls it out. Is some very revealing lingerie.
Yeah, so I kind of figured. I mean, well, I didn't know it was lingerie, but I figured it was something very personal.
She stands up and
Um,
she starts putting because it's a two piece. She starts trying looking and see what it looks like, and she's completely lost the understanding that you're even there.
excuse me.
Oh yeah, no,
There's
sorry.
some bad news to go along with it,
Oh yes,
unfortunately.
bad news. She sits down and she's giggling over, and she looks. Oh, there's an inscription. She reading a tag on the inside.
Very fancy. But no, the reason why we came out here, and I explained kind of what happened, and I also mentioned if she's familiar with what was his name, Abrams. Uh, I
Abrams,
forgot to
yes,
write.
Abrams, yes.
I mentioned if she's familiar with him. I let her kind of know what happened. Um, and like basically like this is a. I mean, I'm sure she would know this is a big deal kind of thing, but I'm trying to keep it like
Yeah, no, I get you.
trying to keep it
Um,
private.
well,
Yeah.
she does get serious when you mention demonology, right? And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I don't really know who Abrams is, but I don't pay attention to those things, to be honest with you. But that is serious.
Do you do you think you could get us a meeting with the court?
You want to talk to mom?
That would be very beneficial.
Sure." She gets up. She walks over to a door. She kind of calls out, once again in a language you guys don't know. And you see a little. She kind of looks like a waitress, honestly, but she's clearly a vampire as well. They all have this pale, super pale white marble skin, right? Because once again, you can see it because you're umbrals, right? The humans wouldn't see her as being so white. But she says something to her in like in this language. It sounds Slavic to you, right?
Would make
And
sense.
she comes back, says, "Okay, let's go."
Uh, all right. Uh, I get going then.
And she kind of puts the little thing. She as she's walking out, that girl that came up, she hands the president and says, speaks to her again, and she says, "Well, anything for Jesse." So you guys all pile into your Escalade, and she's It's interesting because she is a demon princess, and you guys know enough about the vampires from your studies that you don't get to be a princess just because your sire is high level. Their society does not work like that. She is badass powerful. You know she is. She must be, just by default. But yet she's so mousy. She's so petite and demure, right? She's
Well,
not
that,
vulgar. She's dressed somewhat sexy, but it's not out of control,
I
right?
mean, that's actually really good if you want power to be not so over the top, but
I
you
suppose
know,
I'm just,
if
there's
you're,
a conundrum here,
yeah, I mean, it being unassuming can actually be beneficial at times. Is
most
all I'm saying.
certainly, especially if you're running a place called
I
Franklin.
do bring up a different topic while we're in the car with her.
Sure.
She says, "That was a beautiful set of, lingerie."
Oh, it was, because girl talk, and she immediately falls
Yeah,
into girl talk with you. By the way, immediately. Oh
okay,
my God! And
alright.
she names it's a some boutique brand name, right? And she's like, oh my God, do you
Yeah,
have any?
unfortunately, no.
Oh my God,
Haven't got there yet.
I'll get you some. They feel so good on the skin. And she just gets into this immediate girl talk conversation about lingerie. And it's not a normal, what I mean by girl talk is, women can sit and talk about any conversation, but it doesn't make it girl talk. You know what I mean, right? She's,
Yeah,
like you're in high school type of, conversation. But she's very excited about it, and she bubbles over Jesse several times, although she doesn't let anything too open slip. But it's clear something's going on between those two. And she's saying, "Oh, you look great in purple. Oh, maybe pink. And what color do you
you
like,
think?
and etc."
Hmm, what colors do I like? Well, I was, like, 9 years old when I was kidnapped and everything, uh,
Oh my! And then
but
she
I
wants
was,
to hear everything about that.
she wants to hear everything.
Okay. So you know what? In this situation, lady, give me a social roll.
Yeah? Oh, no. She tells you how unsociable sociable she is too. What you say
It
there?
doesn't matter. Give me a roll.
Okay.
We're just seeing if
Social 6, 8. And we're just talking girl talk. What would that be? An
So,
influence?
all right,
that would still be
No,
influence.
it would be social and
no.
influence and whatever distinction you think applies.
It's not
And
gonna
I'll
be
tell
very
you
good.
right
Oh,
now,
Lord.
it's probably just umbral because you don't have anything specific in your distinctions. So it's just the fact that you guys are umbrals. That would be the connector. So whatever your umbral distinction is, your social and your influence, roll it.
Okay. That where does 6 come? Did it purposely too.
Okay, it's
Arr.
it's going to be your social, your umbral distinction, whichever one has the word umbral in it, and your influence. Just
Right.
roll those dice.
Or you said your influence was only like a D4, right? Or was it a D6?
Yeah, that's a D4. But my umbral is under mental, but I can't use mental for that.
Yes, you
No, you,
can.
you
I
Your
can if
distinctions
both
apply
says
wherever
Umbral.
you want them to apply, lady.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
Okay.
have whatever your social dice is, whatever the umbral, the distinction has the word umbral in it, whatever that dice is, and then whatever your
Okay.
influence dice. Roll those three dice.
It keeps on repeating. Oh, here we go. Roll, the shaking of the
Okay.
dice.
It's Just keep in mind the reason why each distinction is applied to each of your main abilities, your mental, physical, and social, is because skills are attached to them. That's why the distinctions
Yeah.
themselves in gameplay apply wherever they apply. There's no restriction on that. But anyway, what am I looking at here? Good roll, actually, really good roll. That's a 13. That is certainly well above what you needed. And she's very interested in your life story as you guys are driving to the Winter Court, which I'm sure. Who's driving?
I'll drive.
Uh,
Okay, GOP. All right, whatever. But
yeah.
you put in your special Dove navigation, Winter Court, and easy. Lady,
Mm?
you have this is not a contact dice yet.
I
But
don't know.
if you spend 2 PowerPoints right now, you can take a D6 contact dice with Penelope.
2 PowerPoints.
hmm
All right.
Okay. Now this contact. Now the way this works is that contact will last for the rest of this campaign. Not this campaign. This particular case file that we're working on, which we won't finish today. So next week as well. And then when that case file is done, if you spend experience points on it, meaning getting a new D6 die, which I think is like 5. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
If you spend that 5 experience point, you can make it a permanent contact die, which I highly suggest you do.
Yay. Okay.
Yes. I don't know if you've noticed this, but Penelope is preferential toward the females.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just keep that in mind. So you have it you spend the 2, so it allows you to have access to her as a contact for the
Temporarily.
rest of the case temporarily. But that because you spent not 1 but 2, you can also then at the end of the campaign make it an actual permanent asset. That's how it works in
All
the
right.
game. All right. And I would suggest you spend that 5. I know it is 5 experience points, but having a contact like this is, well, it's useful, right?
Yeah.
Especially extremely useful in Boston. But nevertheless, you guys pull up in front of the Winter Court, and the Winter Court itself is actually glamored, right? So for the average citizen, they just see a bunch of buildings and apartment complexes and stuff like that. It just looks normal, but they've actually glamored it magically. Keep in mind that Umbrals have a natural glamoring when it comes to uh, mortals, right? That's why they don't see what you see, right? Mr. Doss looks like an old homeless black man, is what he looks like, but he's actually a troll, right? It's a natural glamoring that comes kind of with being an Umbral. But they've actually glamored the entire frickin' building, which is impressive. It's pretty high end magic.
Bedazzled the whole thing, huh?
They did, they did, yeah.
It's not
Oh,
bedazzled, it's dazzle though.
well, that too.
Right. So this building, from what you see, is different from what an average citizen would see. Nevertheless, you are at the Winter Court. And you get out of your vehicle, and Penelope walks in. She says, "Come along," and you guys enter into the Winter Court. Now, uh, as you guys come in, there is a contingent of 6, military people sitting in the front foyer, right? And they are armed with automatic weapons. They're not playing around. These aren't, people that have pistols hidden in their jackets. They are full on tax suited automatic weapon people holding 6 of them in the front. And then there is you see 2 doors, one to the right and one to the left. And there is a rather small looking young man sitting behind a desk. She brings him up to you, and he stands at attention as soon as she enters in the foyer, as do the other guards. She says, "I'm going up to see Mom." He said, "Yes, ma'am." And she just kind of nonchalantly goes through the right door and just says, "Come along."
All right, we follow.
And she goes to an elevator, and you guys go to the top floor, the penthouse floor. And she comes walking out, and this area in here is actually set up like a throne room, an actual throne room. It's quite large actually. It's beautiful, gaudy a little bit actually, maybe from your point of view. There are lots of people milling around in here. Maybe this is kind of their general hangout area. You don't know. But there's a lot of people milling around, chatting, talking. All kind of things are going on. There is security standing next to each column, right? This place, there's quite a bit of security. And she just walks through, and people are like bowing, and some are blowing kisses, and she's just kind of, you know, social butterflying as she does. But she doesn't stop, and she goes all the way up to the throne, and you see a lady sitting on the throne, and she's dressed like a queen, not dressed like Penelope is. She's literally dressed like a queen, and she seems to be talking about some business with some people. And Penelope just quietly waits, and you guys do as well. And when they're done, there's clearly other people in line, but they bow as the princess just goes up, and it says, "Hi, mom," really nonchalantly, right? And the queen doesn't appreciate it. You can see she kind of scowls a little bit at her, and she says, "What is this about? We got to talk. Something important's come up." She says, "I am in the middle of court, Penelope." It's like, "Yeah, man, but mom, but this is involving demonology." She says it out loud, and you hear a hush come over the entire court. The queen bolts up and says, "Fine, Penelope, let's go." And she takes her into an antechamber. And you guys come in there, and Penelope just sits down in a settee. She literally just kind of lounges in it, and you guys
Yeah, something like her real kid. Yeah.
exactly. And have the queen herself looking at you, wondering why you're in her face. This is Queen Isabella.
All right. I say, greetings, Your Highness. I'm Agent Xander Lawtons. I'm the liaison of Dove.
Yes,
Um,
I have seen your data, your case file, or no, I've seen your information. Sorry.
I have some rather troubling things that I need to discuss with you, and I go in and I tell her everything that happened, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I mention this the Abrams fellow, excuse
Yes.
me, and just try and just let her know everything and try and see like is was Abrams, does she know if Abrams was working on like who, like basically ask, well, first I tell her everything, and then I ask like about Abrams, like does he work under anyone in particular, kind of thing, but
Well,
yeah, I
and
just
she listens very intently and quietly. And after you're done, she says, "Mr. Abrams is my personal agent."
I see.
Um,
uh
as far as the other things go, not that I know anything about any demonology in the Winter Court. That would be outrageous. But if there were, Mr. Abrams is more than capable of taking care of it. You need not worry about such things.
well, I understand. It's just very troubling to hear about. And of course, it's going to drag Dovin into these sort of matters if that gets brought up. Obviously, I think your organization is quite well put together, and you can, if there are any troubles, that you are more than capable of finding them. But just in case that information was not you were not aware of it, uh, you know, now you know.
Yes, well, thank you very much. We're certainly happy to assist Dove in any way we may. But well, there's nothing to concern yourselves with. Thank you for letting us know, though. And of course, young Pagan is young, and they shoot their mouth off. Young people, you know how they are.
Can I do insight? I mean, I think she's lying to me, but I'm gonna just roll an insight just to
Sure.
see.
This is a serious lady, though. Challenge
I
of
know.
15.
Yeah, well, I've got serious social skills,
Well, there you
so
go. But it is a
yeah,
challenge 15.
understandable. Okay, so D12, D10, 2D8, and a D6. Come
Chester's
on.
like GOP. This is serious, and GOP's like, no, Chester, I'm the serious one.
No, meaning her level is high, is what I
Oh,
meant.
I understand.
Yeah.
So that is a 20 with a 12 effect.
Yeah, that's plenty. That's very plenty. So lying, is she lying to you?
What sort of hero dice do
Um,
I get, by the way?
oh, you
Because
get
it's
that right there would be a D8. Yeah.
eh,
And so you get a D8 off of that. Um, I wouldn't use the word lying. She is being diplomatic. Now, in your dissertation, because of the way you put it, you did mention meeting with Pagan Cross, right?
I well, yeah, I probably would
You
have
would have
because
said
it.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the way you worded it. Because that would have been a bigger red flag. But however, she's not. She knows more than she's saying. Let's put it that way. But I wouldn't say she's lying.
She's
Uh,
not malicious.
No,
if
you
there's
you get none of that.
can I do another persuasion to try and coerce more info out of her? Like, I understand our organizations haven't exactly got completely along in the past, but I'm new to this role and I'm looking to change that. I want us to have better communication lines. I want us to actually work together in the ways we haven't worked together in the past. So, I there's anything else you can help me with, I mean, help me help you. I'm gonna do everything I can, and maybe in the future, if you need something from me, I'll be there for you guys. Uh,
Well,
can I do a
yeah,
can
no,
I
you
do a roll
can.
for that?
You are in her wheelhouse, though. This is her
Well,
wheelhouse.
yeah,
That is a
mine too.
challenge rating 19.
Makes sense. All right.
But it'd be great
Uh,
if you got it made this roll, though.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to make this roll. Even if I
Hero
roll
point.
crap,
He's a hero.
I'm going to use them. Oh wow. Um. Okay.
That's easy.
So
One PowerPoint, you're done.
yeah, I'm going to.
Not even. You don't even need to spend a PowerPoint. Actually, what am I talking about?
Well,
You have
no,
to beat
it
it. You
was a
have to beat it.
19.
You have to
Yeah, I
beat
have
it.
to beat it. So
One
I'll spend a
PowerPoint,
PowerPoint to add that. So it's going to be 27 and
27.
then a D12
And
effect.
Jesus Christ. Well,
Yeah.
you get a D10 Howard hero dice out of that. As
It-
well. This is really working out well for you. For all the cost of one PowerPoint, she actually smiles demurely at you. She's normally when I have to deal with younger people, it's a little bit, how should I say, frustrating. But you are pleasant, aren't you?
I
You got the
smile.
same situation with that freaking role because Penelope's easy. She's friendly with everybody, and women get an automatically bonus with her because of what she is. But having a contact in the group to Penelope is very useful, dude. With that freaking role, you can do the same. Two PowerPoints, and then 5 XP. You can actually make a direct contact to Queen Isabella. Uh,
Oh, I am
that
so doing that.
Yeah, that's serious. And on top of that, I'm going to help you along your way, and I'm going to give you an experience point for that success you just had here. So take an XP.
Awesome. Because that was really good.
That
I'm
was
kind of shocked.
awesome. It was so perfect,
Yeah.
dude. So she actually, likes you. That's awesome, dude. But definitely, spend the two PowerPoints and the 5 XP, and you'll get a D6 contact die with Queen Isabella. I didn't expect that to
All
happen, but it should. So there you go. And her well, no,
Made
that's
her
super
come for it.
valuable, dude. It's
Yeah,
super
I know.
valuable.
It's so crazy you did it.
Yeah. And you can actually, once you get that die, you can, in essence, communicate and talk with her, and you can level that up. more even in the future if you wanted to, right? You
Yeah,
can make like a D8 or even more.
it's
But
my
that
job.
it is, but then no, that's extremely useful. But it's as it should be. But her response is
See,
this: even though you can tell, she gives you that kind of look, the little wry smile and look that women give, right? You know what I mean? And
mhm.
so she's pleased with you. And she says, like I said, if there were any, she emphasizes were, right? Any problems, our personnel would certainly be able to deal with it. But I appreciate your inquiry, and if you have any questions anytime, you are more than welcome to come and discuss them with me. And with that, there's been a man standing by the door the whole time, right? Quietly. He's like a chamberlain of some kind. And she kind of raises her fingers. He comes over and he says, do give, and she leans into you and very close to you, and she says, "What was your name again?"
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm Officer Xander Lyons the third.
Ah, well, nice to meet you. She puts her hand out and actually shakes your hand. And she talks to this Chamberlain type of fellow secretary, whatever he is, and she says, "Do give a an official pass to Mr. Lyons."
What
This
about
is
his associates?
I
she
would
hasn't
assume
even
you'd probably
Don't
become
acknowledged
with
either
it.
one of you do.
Yeah,
She is quite
and I
aloof.
don't
would not.
push
Do not talk,
Do
please.
please do
In
not
this
talk. Please
particular
just shut up.
scenario,
Yeah.
it's.
Um, but
I don't think I can roll like that again.
Now that pass, because that was really great rolls, dude. That pass is basically it's the in-world contact die, is what it is, right?
Okay.
Your ability to communicate her. But write it down on your sheet, though. It's very important because what this means is you can enter the Winter Court anytime you like. Now,
That's great.
it doesn't
That's
mean you
something.
can go poking around and snooping and causing trouble, but you
Yeah.
can enter the Winter Court anytime you like. That for now, you're
Well,
not a mortal. You're not. You're an umbral. But that's probably a privilege rarely given.
yeah. I
But
mean,
look at that roll, dude.
even
Jesus Christ.
yeah, even if we don't really have a conclusion, I mean, she made it sound like it was a problem they knew about. Like maybe he was there because he was investigating the same thing we were. Um, at least
Yeah,
that's kind of
she
my
kind of
take
hinted that
on it.
way. Yeah, she hinted that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so even though we really didn't get a firm answer on this whole thing, at the very least, I got a major political contact, which is
you
going to be
did.
great.
That's really cool. You got to spend on it. It's not free, but still, it's worth the
Well, yeah,
spend.
but I had 5 XP, so I just spent it to
All
make
right.
that a permanent thing.
Now I already gave you one, but that was simply for the success of in game role playing. For this scene, which is now ending, she steps up and she says, "Well, it was very nice meeting you all. I do have court to attend to," and she bows and she leaves with her chamberlain. And Penny chuckles over in the corner. Before I get to Penny's retort, everyone does get 2 experience points for that encounter, though. That's two
Awesome.
additional GP, two additional.
All right.
And Penelope says, she likes you.
I
Oh, you
giggle
think
'cause I'm
so?
probably standing beside the sofa she's sitting on, and I lean down over the sofa and go, "My, oh my, your mama is a hot one, isn't she?"
And she kind of winks at you and says, "You know it, but I think Mama's got her eyes glittering for a little detective man."
I got like
Hey, I'm not
Mild
very
and
good.
green.
my. Yeah, no, I just got my hands on my collar. Just just like ooh,
Yeah, baby. But
yeah,
Penelope stands up and
I
says,
still
"All right.
got it.
Well, I don't know if that's what you wanted, but let's go." And she leads you out just as nonchalantly as she had entered into the winter court. And you guys find you're outside, and she turns around and she says, "This is kind of interesting because she talks to you, and this is the first time you've seen her be normal.
Serious?
Yeah, serious." She was
Yeah.
like, she looked over and she says, she's looking at you, Lions, and she says, "Be careful."
I'm always careful.
but that was not the Penelope you've ever seen. She spoke
Yeah,
straight, right? And she goes over and just piles into the Escalade with everybody else as you guys take her back to Franklin's. As she gets out of Franklin's and just walks off and heading toward the place as you guys are discussing what you're going to do next. I don't know if you guys just stayed in the car or you got out to you know
Actually,
as
I'm hungry. Let's
gentlemen.
go eat inside.
Okay, well that's fine. So are you guys going to follow her in to eat, or what are you going to do?
well, I know I would have got the door for her because she's literally royalty.
Right. No,
So I
I
mean, I
figured
kind
you
of
would be. Meaning everyone's outside
yeah.
the car is what I want. But as
Okay,
Penelope's out of shot, and you guys are getting ready to go inside and get a bit to eat for Mavis. Let me bring this up here real quick. So we just left the Queen, and we're at the back at Franklin's. But as you guys are getting ready to move forward, everything goes black.
Crap.
You can't see anything.
wonderful.
No street lights, nothing. It's the blackest black you've ever seen in your life. It's complete lack of light. None.
I can I light a Zippo?
You can.
I light a Zippo, and I also light up a cigarette at the same
Well, you
time.
probably don't light the cigarette because as you light the Zippo, there is no light coming off of it. If you put your hand over it, you can feel the heat, but there's no light whatsoever.
Oh,
And sunglasses
I
at
look at
night.
GOP and say this is some buku stuff right here.
And with that, you hear a little bit of a chuckle, and appearing as if almost slightly illuminated himself in the darkness, you see a man.
Is he the Baron?
No,
What
that's not the
Baron?
Baron.
Or why do I who keeps coming at me with Barons?
No, he's talking about the Stygigar guy, or whatever his name is.
The
That's not
Stygian
him.
Archduke Roll?
If you looked at the picture,
No,
you would not.
no,
You would
the
see it's
the
not him.
the Baron guy who Lady Ninma fought, the
Baron
vampire dude.
Stedigear. Oh, that guy. Yeah, no.
Stygigar,
Well, you
yeah,
know what he looks like, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not him.
Yeah, that's not him.
Um,
You haven't seen anything in this investigation so far that points toward him whatsoever so far. But who knows, right? But anyway, this man appears in front of you. He has runes all over his face and head, and he has what seem to be open wounds on his chest and hands. But he bows to you in a very old-fashioned way, really, and he
I
says,
give him a
"Good evening. I am Loki."
well. Hello, Loki. It's a pleasure to meet you. I give him a little nice little polite bow too.
How you doing? Welcome to Boston.
He smiles, and he says, "I am here. What is the word? Unofficially. However,
Well,
a certain party would like you to have some information. I will only say this once, so pay attention. The lava room." And he disappears. And within a few seconds, the darkness is gone as well.
uh, when the darkness goes, I look over at my compatriots and So does am I the only one who's confused about what that meant, or
I passed the flask.
okay? Does the lava room have like is there some umbral context to that, or is it just some random thing
As
that we
far
would have
as
no
I
idea?
know, none of you would know.
Bringing up my asset, start trolling through social media and a database of Dove to find out the
This
lava
is not an
room.
automatic roll. You'll have to actually make a roll.
Okay.
The challenge
All
rating
right.
for this, with your technology, probably an 11, I guess. You go ahead and make your roll real quick. I gotta go grab something. I'll be back in a second.
GOP.
Yeah.
So the weather's quite cold.
Yeah. That's what got
This
me feeling sick.
this sucks.
Yep. That's
Been-
that's what happens when it's cold.
I've been
Hey,
taking
it's
the
10 o'clock.
CCs
Yeah, I
Well,
have
that's good.
too.
because if I don't take the CCs, I wind up on the ground.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, CC's.
PCs are they mean like
Uh,
company convenience or something like that. They're basically they let you go home early.
you get to work half day, but you only make half day pay.
Why would
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
So
do
if you
that?
You go
it's
home.
if you're
It's
working on the ground, you're out basically for the better part of 8 hours, just in the cold, getting off and on and off trains. It's not fun. So some people,
or even in the truck. Sometimes you get a truck that has shitty heat. You're fucking 4 hours
yeah.
in. You're freezing. They're like, you want to go home and spend the rest of the day with your family. You're like, that sounds very good right now.
So in the
Wow,
When you're
wintertime,
freezing your
America
nuts off
has
because it's
gotten
-10.
so soft.
hey, I'm just saying, some
No, no,
people,
no. Company convenience. The point of it is when we're slow. You take if
yeah.
nobody took the company convenience, we'd be at high risk of getting laid off right now.
That's
It spreads the
definitely a
workflow out.
union. That's union shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Cool. But anyway, what are we doing? Lady made a roll, and
I
Lady
did.
got a 14 with a D8 effect, um, which was it's enough, right? It's enough. So Lady, you guys are kind of sitting there. Lady Mavis is leaning up against the Escalade, and you guys are waiting, and she's searching, and it takes her a good 15 minutes as you guys are just sitting there waiting. That's a long time. Usually within a few minutes, she's got information. But it's hard. That's a hard dig you just did. But you finally gain some information and you start finding stuff on the dark web. The Lava Room is a local vampire nickname for a nightclub called it's simply called the Boston Spot. That's the actual name of the place. But the vampires call it the lava room, right? But like I said, that's not Dove business, as it were, right? Because vampires are always kind of on the edge of legality just by their nature, right? But that you
Does it
finally do
say
found it.
anything about it?
She finds lots of people chattering about it. It's mainly it's a place that vampires like to hang out, particularly Winter Court. But you do find some imagery for it. Let me come over to it. And she is able to give you some snapshots. The lava room is, they call it this because they use a lot of red lighting. This seems to be a vampire club is what it seems to be, even though publicly it's not acknowledged as that. Like I said, it's called the Boston Spot is the name. But from what she's getting in the various chat rooms and things like that, this is a vampire hangout, Winter Court particularly. And you don't see anything untoward. It's just this is where they hang out. They like to go and dance, and it's probably where they keep their blood dolls or interact with them a lot. I mean, who knows? But it is specifically a vampire hangout, Winter Court vampire hangout. And she digs a little bit more, and she does find it takes you a while because you find all kind of fronts and shell companies. This thing is really suspicious, lady, as far as the financing control. But finally, she does find information of who the actual owner is. Maybe he's the
Really?
owner, or maybe he's the CIO. You're not sure, lady. But you do find information, and of course, in your data files from Dove, you find a photo. And this guy is no joke. And you show a picture. I'm sorry, I'm not showing. God damn it. But this is the lava room, what it looks like for all the viewers.
We
And
can just speculate on what the character looks like.
no, I'm sorry, I forgot to switch it over. But you can see the lava room right here,
That's
and
fucking huge.
it is big. Yeah,
Tamira's.
and
It looks very open too, though.
yeah. Well, this is a real place, by the way. This is an actual nightclub. This is
Hmm.
not art. This is a photograph. This is a photograph. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's somewhere in Europe. I think it's in Prague.
That makes sense.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. I thought it was perfect for what I wanted. But you do find this guy, and in the Dove data files, you find a photograph of him, and it's worrisome.
Oh, the old man vampire thing you were talking about.
Yes. Priska
Well,
Slindle is the boss or owner. You're not. It would take a lot of work for you to really get down. You probably spend a week researching and trying to figure out who actually owns this. But this guy is directly connected to it. He's important.
and is he one of the higher ups in the Winter Court?
He is. He is actually not originally from the city of Boston. But because remember, Wintercourt is originally from Finland. They do have some connections in Europe still, but like I said, they're kind of a small player in the vampire world, as it were. And only in Boston do they really have power. But this guy only came over to Boston in the past couple of decades, so he's a new arrival from Europe, particularly, and he is actually often you see in the data file they often put the word uh, Baron in front of him.
Hey, so he is a baron.
Well,
T Tower, you got your baron.
See,
Now do I get
I'm
my
just being
afterburner back?
circular GOP. I just gave up.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. So Baron
I
Priscus
get my
Lindel.
afterburners
But
next.
yes, inside the Winter Court, he seems to have some push. Yeah. But like I
All
said,
right.
worldwide, the Winter Court is not particularly powerful.
Okay. Well, uh, how's everyone feeling? I know it's been a long day, but how's everyone feeling about going to a little nightclub?
I don't think we should do this yet. I think
Yeah, it's
I
getting
think we
late.
need
We
some
should
Yeah,
probably
we have to
go
do it
get
next week, and
rest.
that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, we need to do some more background check on this place.
Yeah, I would. uh, but um, but yeah, no, because there's still this would be the end of Act Two, and then I have Act Three, which is really quite short. But there
Very
is
Oh,
bloody.
there's two potential. There's two major encounters left, and it would probably take an hour. So we'll finish it next week, no problem. We did have to kind of do a little catching up, and to be fair, um, uh, this group here, we are not efficient role players.
no,
No, we're
sir.
not.
We are not. So, but that's fine. Let me bring back up the other side here.
You don't
Uh,
have to be efficient when you're having fun.
that's true. But I mean, Tower, you would have had some nerd rage on you if you were in certain groups. Just so you know,
I'm
you
okay with that.
yeah,
It's just blame it on me. It's my fault.
it is. Yeah, it is
That's
your fault. But
yes.
that's okay. It depends. I know I have GOP. I'm assuming you sat at an actual efficient role playing table before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I back a long time ago. I've run a few games,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah. It is kind of a beautiful thing to see a bunch of people really running an efficient campaign, though. It is cool. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. We're having fun, and I'm really starting to enjoy the world because it's starting to become alive. What do you think, lady? You enjoying Umbral?
It's becoming more evil. Evil! Evil!
Well, that's the point. That is the point. But Tower, are you enjoying your character in this world?
Yes, sir. Very fun.
Well, that's cool. How about you, GOP?
I'm enjoying myself. This is a good time. But I've liked all the stuff that we've done so far, so
Yeah,
I'm not picky.
it is fun just to role play. But I'm starting to see because I can see the opportunities, growing. But nevertheless, awesome. We've come to the end. We'll pick up next week. I just gave them experience for that social, so we're kind of mid play. So I will save the rest of the experience for next time. because there's still two major encounters coming. But nevertheless, anybody have any questions for me before we
I
shut
can
down?
wait till after we get the experience to make her a permanent contact.
You can. I mean, if you have the experience now, you can do it. But but it is during that case file, and we're not finished. We're
Yeah, we're not
halfway
finished
through
with it
it.
yet. Yeah,
So
that's why I
yeah, no,
thought.
you can do it next week if you don't have the XP. Sure.
Well,
Um,
no, I got the XP. I'm just checking.
but those when you can always spend a PowerPoint to create an asset, right? But it only lasts for that scene. If you spend two PowerPoint, you can get it for the entire campaign, which we're running case file based campaigns. But then if you do spend that 2 points at the end of that campaign, you can spend, I think it's 5 experience points, to make it permanent. That's the system. It's how it works. So if you see a value in having a contact just for the scene, it only costs one PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
And if
right.
you can make the proper rolls. Anyway, thank you all very much. Keep in mind, we will see you guys on Thursday. We're drawing a quartered Ultimate Edition. I'm not sure exactly what we're drawing, but it'll be something great. So thank you all very much. And other than that, later.
Goodbye.